Hello chat, welcome back to another live stream or watch party, whatever you want to say. Yes, welcome back. Sorry, I'm a bit late, but मैं मेरा thumbnail नहीं मिला था मेरे को, so मैं उसी के पीछे था थोड़ा सा. Sorry for the inconvenience. जल्दी से मैच शुरू करते हैं. ऑलरेडी शुरू हो चुका होगा. आज है FPX versus TH.
Biggest venue we've ever had at an international Valorant tournament. It is the goal for every one of these players. For FPX, you get to play in front of a massive home crowd in Shanghai, China. And for Team Heretics to be able to live up to that again, make do on what happened in Madrid in their own home country.
All right, here comes the agent select now, and we're going to see what Life can do on that Yoru and Voot, as you had mentioned before, Kukuka, on the Rays.
Exactly. He was an absolute machine last time that we saw him on this map. 10-2 in entries. He was just going at it because, you know what? Why not? On the other side, you're mentioning Life. We know that he's extremely proactive, that Berlin is going to be sending him out for a lot of plays onto mid. They're not going to leave anything for a second guess. They want to get that info in the proactiveness.
Life is make or break in this composition. You're running it with only that fade, so all the flashes you have to play into those retakes, which you'll often have to on Sunset defense, come down to Life. You have to look at how he's going to coordinate with Berlin and Ayung and what they can achieve as a team.
My eyes also go to Patitek and Boo because I feel like this is not his first tournament, but Patitek, he's been shining, and especially on this map, he's where he feels the most.
All right, well, brand new casting duo. It's Doug and Paper Thin, as I like to call them, Dougie Thin.
I unfortunately had no idea where he was going to go with that, and it somehow exceeded all of my worst nightmares.
He did better than we could, so.
Yeah, that's also unfortunately true. The beautiful nature of tournaments like this is you get to the point in the tournaments, Paper Thin, where elimination is on the line, and it's heartbreak, or it can be pure joy on the other side of the stage. So it's a pleasure to be able to share these moments with you, especially when it's talking about FPX versus Heretics, both teams with such high aspirations, such lofty goals. One of those roads ends today.
No doubt. It is unbelievable how much pressure there is on both of these teams today. I mean, the fear is something you're going to have to get over, that you're going to have to conquer to make it through here. And FPX, after their disappointing finish at Masters Madrid, have done nothing but improve, done nothing but impress. As we see, pretty clean site take here for Team Heretics, space being given up by FPX. So this is all according to plan. It seems like they're going to set up for a retake, see if they can get it done, but that's a lot of damage to Autumn.
See how they choose to navigate this. Harbor wall, paranoia, barrage of utility already getting out onto the site, but Heretics wisely playing on the other side of it, not choosing to take the fight quite yet. Harbor up close to personal. Berlin will fall. Who drops two? The nade now to buy a little bit more time, and they have rolled the retake attempt from the defense.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra room. High tide for TH to work with.
Ooh, nice or snappy on the first, but cannot connect beyond that.
It's quick, man. I mean, Team Heretics is given the space. FPX, this is what they want to do. And they try to use that high tide to allow themselves the ability to get into a good spot to go for the defuse, but it's just well read here by Team Heretics. And I think this little bit of extra space for Voot to work with and identify just kind of open the doors here for them to really just make sure that any of those aggressive pushes that they'll sometimes do through those high tides, that is one of the trickier things to deal with against FPX on this map, is when they're going to be aggressive on the back of those harbor smokes. Are they going to push through them or not? Are they going to try to throw util at you through them or not? It's a very difficult proposition for them, but off the rip, Team Heretics looking pretty clean so far. See what they want to do is there's a big stack through mid here for FPX, but a spot.
A cheeky little spot on top of the box. We'll spot anyone trying to swing through the tiles, and sure enough,
भाई यहाँ पे ऐसा हो जाए कि जब साइकिल का कैम लगा
round was very quick. It was
एटलीस्ट 5 या 3 सेकंड तक उसको तोड़ ही ना पाए इनको तो आ जाएगा एटलीस्ट वो तो कैम बेसी हो गया अगर लगा तुरंत तोड़ दिया तो
just didn't turn out to be the
it
case.
doesn't make any
And this is
sense
something that
kind
this
of
FPX team is not afraid to do, is to run at you on their defender side of this map. And again, it's on the back of some of those extra layers of smokes that you have built into this composition.
Right.
Absolutely what you have to try here as FPX. And I'm really curious because I felt like, Doug, against Foot, they were a lot more aggressive. Like
Yeah,
they were,
I would agree.
They were really willing to push through and try some of those really crazy plays, especially off the back of Life's Yoru. But against Gen G, it felt a little bit more reserved on this map. So, oh my god.
nice shot no
The reservation.
nice one Autumn
All being disregarded now. Autumn just
3 kills
destroys
6
him.
Well, I mean, that's just, you know, kind of gambling here a little bit as Team Heretics, trying to push through that smoke. And Autumn was just...
भाई एक बार माइक आ जाने दो फिर मैं तो चिल्लाऊंगा ना भाई
Really don't
अब
go
मैं भी
away.
चिल्ला भी नहीं सकता स्ट्रीम में इतना गंदा आवाज आता है ना जब मैं
It's been
चिल्लाता
so
हूँ
much fun
इसलिए
to
मैं
watch
इतना
this
लाइटली
FPX
बोलता हूँ
because I do think they bring a
एक
really
बार बस
fun
माइक आ
approach
जाए
to the
भाई
game. They
फिर
provide a
देखो
little bit something different, and you know, I've talked about it a couple times. I've had the pleasure of casting to these guys. Is that harbor wall that they just tried clearing is such a nuisance to get through. You have to clear it 2 times, potentially 3, depending on your pathing. You certainly don't want to face it because then
कोई बात नहीं ले भाई कोई बात
he
नहीं
just did. So
Okay.
you have to use utility to get B-main control, and that's often space that's free.
Exactly. Who's going to find Lysor there, but it is what makes them so challenging to play against, Doug, is you never know what's going on the other side of those high tides. And Gen G, I think, played it really well, where they were very patient behind it. Now, this is the bonus for Team Heretics, so if you want to see what they're
मैं
showing
किसी का डर था वो मारना था फिर ये तो
Boo in a 1v3, spotting all targets.
ये देखो
He's grabbed the spike. Paper thin, he's getting away.
This is great. This is huge value for Team Heretics. I mean, think about, they get an extra gun out of the hands of FPX. They're going to get the spike planted, get that extra cash for that.
ये निकाल देगा यार
And that's worst case scenario at this point. I mean, best case scenario, he shatters the hearts of FPX.
That would be unthinkable in some ways.
A smoke already used. Footsteps given away. He's biding his time. He's patient with it. He's going to catch them both. The Cove to provide a little bit of cover. No position given away quite yet. Berlin has gotten it to happen now on the tap. He has to face it. He will fall.
Hello Saivinesh, welcome to the stream.
That the Harbor's going to provide you in moments like
मैंने
that, where you know
पागल की
your
तरह
opponent
दोनों
doesn't
कलर
have any
एक ही
mollies to
तरफ
clear
हुआ है
that
टी-शर्ट भी
zone.
वहीं पहन के आगे
Really nicely handled by FPX, but
मैं
what a
just
bounce
noticed
back
that.
after a crazy start there from Autumn. I mean, this is just 1, 2, 3. Oh, what a transfer there on that third.
It's clean.
Disgusting. I mean, already coming out here with some pacey play from both teams, and it doesn't seem like the pressure of this moment is really kind of affecting their play style. You'll see teams come into these games where it's do or die, where you have no other options but win or lose, or your tournament life is done, and they kind of take it slow. But these two teams aren't afraid of each other, and I love it.
No, not yet. I think if we see any of those cracks show, it will be later in the series.
और बता Saivinesh कैसा है भाई
But so far, I would have to agree with you and echo that sentiment. They look steady. They look solid.
FPX
On both
बोला
sides of the ball.
FPS बोला what the
So
fuck
into the 4th round we go.
boo boo boo
Far Berlin's got up towards mid-bottom. I mean, he is deep in enemy territory, and they have no idea.
No, they are going to have that trip from Benji to kind of keep them back. And obviously his positioning will certainly help as well.
But he might be able to catch Benji post-plant, or trying to back up the team on the execute.
And then the trip is down, the site is open, and chaos will inevitably ensue. For now, a quiet approach.
NG at least a little bit aware.
He's got to understand something's going on here. Meanwhile, Woot with the rocket pop trying to pick his timings and does so successfully. Meanwhile, Berlin is still behind them. Hyung is going to fall. Rian's will too, but Veggie Fishy now goes to face a tear.
But ये तो secondary है.
Berlin
Move को move कर दिया
FPX
ने.
And now Autumn, who got a 1v3
I नहीं हो रही है
round to
भयंकर.
open it up, is going to have to close it in the same way.
This is a team that doesn't like to say
भाई देखो 1v3 है but Autumn है.
even in these
मार
situations
सकता
that
है.
look unwinnable. Let's see if Autumn is going to commit.
बंदा पागल है भाई.
This is
उसका
pretty
aim
close
पर
to
जैसा aim
winnable. This is-
चलता है.
I mean, as close as you can possibly get. A 1v3 with no real idea of where anyone is, and they have such good crossfire setup. As soon as there's contact on one, the swing inevitably will come from the other two. So a great round from Woot. You saw him pop the showstopper, get a couple of kills there, and then clean things up at the end to get Heretics their third.
Exactly, and I think what's even more impressive for Team Heretics here is kind of the game plan behind the information they get off the util, where they use two different mollies to smother out Ion behind the generator. And
कौन जीतेगा भाई? वोट कर
complete
दो
awareness of the,
जो भी
of
टीम
the
आपको
space
लगती
they've
है कि
given
ये
up. The
जीतेगी.
complete awareness to be
उसको
making
vote
sure that
करो.
he's being
Support
diligent
team,
watching
favorite teams.
for that lurk. In this case, it was Berlin who was doing the lurking, but I'm very impressed with Team Heretics so far in their game plan on this attacker side. And this is a map that FPX, about 50-50 on both sides of the map throughout this event, but it is really interesting. One of the things that really intrigued me about this map draft, Doug, was that this is the three maps that these two teams are basically the best at.
Right. It's good against good, right?
Yes.
There's no like obvious advantage either way.
Exactly. I love that, man. I love that they're all just giving it their best here today, showing their best.
KKR का जितना फिक्स था.
Was that one of those?
अच्छा, IPL का
It was one of those competitive
It was, wasn't
platitudes.
it?
Absolutely, that was.
Color me shocked.
Yes,
They wanted
me
to get
KKR भाई.
that, huh?
Purple.
Hard-hitting analysis here in Shanghai, ladies and gents.
KKR की जीत की खुशी में purple पहन लिया
Pistol
मैंने.
for FPX, just one rifle in the hands of Ayang. And it's much like we saw a couple of rounds ago, right? When they were down, when they were in an eco, they fully pushed down mid as a death ball. This time the flavor's a little bit different, but the meal is the same. It's all B.
Yeah, man. They're showing a little bit of willingness to try to go for retakes, try to use that harbor to their advantage. Saw it working.
क्या हो गया? भाई और उसको बता दिया कि है ऊपर. Oh, fuck bro.
For that trade against Berlin.
Boy, I
दिख
thought
गया
he
था,
was
मर
gonna
जाता.
He had it lined up.
I think this is pretty big for Heretics here. You take a look at their economy right now. It's pretty healthy. And if they can get through this while losing as little as possible, I mean, this is only going to make things considerably worse. The one thing, if you think about FPX and you're kind of concerned about their setup right now, and the score is, their attack side is a treat to watch. It's so much fun to watch. So I think if there was to be an advantage somewhere, if we had to try to look for one, that's where it would be. As Woot is just eco-farming his way to 4, potentially 5. The ace.
Oh, let's go!
And a
His
big lead
भाई.
for Heretics.
अच्छे से दिखाया नहीं, but
It's
still
only getting bigger.
Feels that way.
आश्रय बोलते ही इतना
It's through the
कुछ
roof
सुनाई
right
देता
now
हूँ
for
किसी बात.
Heretics in terms of just feeling out the map, understanding where the open space is being given and taking advantage of it. And I mean, this is just Woot never really leaving his perch.
He never had to.
Nope. Never any util or anything like that to try to displace him. Just trying to go for these eagle peaks. So this is something that when I was casting FPX versus Gen G, that I noticed a lot with FPX is they're happy to try to eagle. They're happy
Oh,
to
yeah.
just try to take those duels.
I mean, it's that brand,
Yes.
right? That's just the style. That's the way they approach the game, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. It's also such a brutal double-edged sword,
Yes.
right? Because sometimes it works, and then other times you just look lost, right? It looks like you don't really understand the positioning and kind of what you're trying to do. So
अरे ये क्या
it's a
है
damned
भाई
if you do,
उसका?
damned if you don't type thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that some
Yes,
teams can
but-
pull it off at a higher clip.
भाई मेरे दोनों अकाउंट ascendant पहुंच
Right?
गए.
Teams
Let's
like,
go.
keep getting away with this.
Yes, when you're as cracked as those players on stage,
Nice
are
one, right?
certainly possible. But I'd like to see FPX start dialing into some of those unique combo set plays that you can do with the Harbor and the Yoru to keep your opponent
और
off
बता
guard, to keep
कैसा है
your
भाई?
opponent off balance. Stuff like that, I think, is going to be really important here for FPX. You know, they have so much riding on this game because obviously to
तेरे
start-
माइक को क्या हुआ? मेरा जो माइक था वो टूट गया, मैच खराब हो गया, so अभी ये यूज कर रहा हूँ, नया माइक is on the way.
Yeah, they fell
मैं तो
to-
सही
in the
हूँ.
finals. They beat them before that.
Yeah.
And to be
You
able
might
to get
coming
that
on
second team behind
29.
EDG to qualify past the group stage to get into those playoffs would be monumental.
Well, I mean, and to think about how they opened the tournament, right? First win in front of this crowd.
Yes.
Right? This place was
और
electric.
इमॉर्टल को क्या रहा है फिर?
Autumn continues to cause
मेरी
problems.
तो ट्रिप है 31st को.
He's
कहाँ जा
got
रहा है?
more. Life is joining in on the fun. The spike is not
इसीलिए
left
माइक के
B
साथ
main.
थोड़ा प्राइवेट. Hey yo, what the fuck is right?
Contesting at the point of execute. Shut down Team
कुछ
Heretics.
भी.
Good call in the timeout here by Nathan. It's something they haven't really shown too much yet. They've only
जरूरत
been
नहीं
mostly
है
playing
ऐसी
retake,
चीज की.
other than the aggressive push out into B main from Autumn.
बू मार बू.
Oh, Boo is trying to
बू
slip the net.
बू. भाई इसके आगे एक 4-5 अरे मार दिया बू ने.
Not bad, man.
Unfair.
I don't know what he saw there. Shout out Joey, the GOAT. Will
इसका
inevitably
नाम
give us
2-3
a
बार
replay
कंटिन्यू ले
of
भी नहीं
that,
सकते
because
हो.
that was
मैं तो
felt.
भाई जीजी बू हो जाएगा फिर तो.
Absolutely turning up big. Him and Rienz find
30
more
seconds
open
left.
space. I have to give Team Heretics, a ton of credit for the way that they're able to, even in these bad starts in these rounds, find the open space, work their way through to get these plants down, and make FPX have to earn these rounds.
Honestly, very reminiscent of how FPX approached the attack side.
Yes.
अभी तो जा रहा
But
स्कोर
Heretics
ट्रिप.
with a 3-round lead
अबे
and an opportunity
अच्छा नहीं तो
to
स्कोर
devastate
है.
the opposition even more.
नहीं जा रहा.
The win
चलो
round would
कोई
be
ना
insane,
एंजॉय
right?
करो
Like
ब्रो.
popping his ult, and that will help. Any info found is an advantage gained. Who has to TP away? He's gotten into the smoke. The flashes there. Life will fall. They've gotten it
Oh,
down
nice
to
shot, Life.
Again, this would be devastating. Can Berlin win out this 1v1? Rian's on the other side. He's tucking tail. He's running away. He's going to use the Cove to get the defuse again. But the ult used. He's got it to have. He's got to dance around it. Manages to do so. Where's the second shot? The time will run out. And the
Nice
smoke will
ult,
go
nice
off.
ult. और उसका भी ट्राई अच्छा था भाई. उसने हाफ कर दिया था.
It's unbelievable awareness here from Boo.
तू बस वॉच पार्टी ही करेगा क्या? गेम भी खेलेगा. खेलता हूँ ना मैं गेम.
That Life is going to be crossing his path and use that opportunity to set himself. You have got to be kidding me. He sees a pixel. That is a pixel out of place. He sees Fade's hair. Takes him down. Absolutely disgusting. But
ये
Boo,
पड़ती है खेलने
Boo
को.
wins this round here in the end.
ठीक
He uses that smoke,
है
TPs
क्या?
into it.
मेरे को
around the
गेम
exact
अगर
time
मैं
they're
गेम
gonna be coming
खेलूंगा
out
तो
around
ऑब्वियसली
the
कोई ना
corner.
कोई चीज कंटेंट के लिए
Completely
निकालूंगा.
throws off FPX and
माइक
what
वगैरह
is
है
going
नहीं
on?
तो गेम खेलने का ऐसे मन नहीं करता मेरा. और खेलता उधर ऑफलाइन खेलता हूँ. कल रात को खेल रहा था कॉम पे.
About this. This is getting out of hand very quickly.
थोड़ा रैक डाउन हो गया था तो
Frag
लाल
says,
आके
but this is
गोल्ड
now the
तक
third
पहुंचा
time
था
all
वापस.
rifle rounds are going the way of Heretics as well.
हो गया था.
You think about that
गोल्ड में आ
2v3
गया.
that we just saw.
फिर से रात को
That hurts,
खेलूंगा.
man.
Hurts.
ऑन स्ट्रीम कम खेलता
Rien's,
हूँ.
able to get that Hunter's Fury.
जब प्रॉपर
Puts him-
हेडफोन
he
और
knows
माइक
the
दोनों आ
time looking
जाएगा
down
ना.
there,
तब
knows that he can put himself in a position where he can use the Hunter's Fury 100% safe. It's
गोल्ड
just
वन हाँ
really
जीवन आ
Boo in that previous
गया.
round, but
क्या बोलते हैं बीच में लाइक ऐसे मस्ती मस्ती में S3 पहुंच गया था तो
expect
फिर
that
आ
to be
गया.
invested.
तू फ्लैट नहीं था नहीं.
I think the tough thing about this, and this is where I would love to get your thoughts, is, I mean, they've already called a timeout, so they've already had a conversation around what adjustments need to be made. Obviously, they haven't really been fruitful. Do you call another timeout and then just kind of go hands off the wheel for the rest of the map? Do you risk it and then make another adjustment and hope that that's enough to salvage this half? Because it's been disaster up until this point.
No doubt. I'm very curious.
आगे मारना है.
Nathan will approach that as the coach.
Yes. क्या?
Go at him with the shorty. Yeah. Fatty Tech is going to find the final kill in the round. 3 for him.
अरे कहाँ की चेक कहाँ नहीं करा तू? किसको मैसेज
In
भेज
my
रहा है?
opinion, it all depends on how much trust I have in my IGL. And right now, I'd probably wait this out a little bit longer to give Berlin the chance to show that he can find the adjustments himself mid-round here to dial up something. I mean, Berlin has been beautiful on the fly. He's been beautiful creatively this tournament.
Yeah, he has.
But I think in what I've watched from FPX, I think they're going to wait it out maybe, but we could be wrong. Is it going to be another timeout here?
That's a timeout called. That's such a tough situation to be in, too, because, I mean, you probably let that go a little bit more if you're not facing elimination. But the truth is, you can't, I mean, you can't risk it, right? Like, you can't afford to let a window of opportunity like that go. And, again, they're going to be flying without the coach for the rest of the half, or for the rest of the map, excuse me, barring Heretics calling a timeout. This is a brutal position to be in this early in this best of 3.
Make a great point. Make an absolutely great point. I get it. I'd probably do the same, to be honest. If I was the coach,
Yeah, I think I would as well.
I would definitely want to
Given
try
how
to shut this down. I mean, Woot is 15-3 right now.
Yeah, and given how the half has gone, there hasn't really been enough for us to point and look at and go, okay, they've got something going on here, you know, minor adjustments here and there, and they're going to be able to really lean in on this. I think the other thing that's worth noting is you see it on your screens now, there are 4 ults to play around. If there was an opportunity that you cannot let go, this is it.
Exactly. And this is a round where I'm actually fine with them playing retake because your opponent has the showstopper and the null command. Give them that extra space. Set up yourselves for that nightfall, for that reckoning.
Sorry.
And I think that's kind of maybe the plan. Life sticks around a little bit. Sets is kind of one of those, it's looking to me like one of those tricky plays, but he's just sticking around.
Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go. He's stuck. He's caught. He's lit up. And he's dead. There was no exit strategy for him there.
Curious.
Now spotting another as Woot's got 3 more just on this round. FPX really feel like they swallowed another opportunity. But the round is far. Well, never mind. No, it's done. Goodbye to you. It's done, and this half is likely done as well.
It's tough. What it looked like to me there with where the gate crash was in the back of the generator, that he was supposed to be out of that site a little bit sooner, but got caught up on utility or something. I'm not exactly sure.
And then dive back in the chaos.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
you're right. I agree.
But he just never gets the opportunity. The pace is too good. The confidence is too high right now for Team Heretics, especially with Woot absolutely destroying 18-3. He's on pace to like probably set the ACS record for a map in an international event. I would guess he's pretty close, if not, you know, there already. That helps.
Just like
This guy is unreal. 19 kills in 9 rounds, and potentially more to be found.
It's bananas.
This is also a concerning time for teams because this is often where you see players force the matter. You know, this is where you start to see some of these swings that are ill-advised, that you kind of feel the need to go out and make a play. Turn things in your favor as much as you can. We'll see what happens for FPX. They have found no success, really, on either side of the game. Life with an opener onto Woot. They're finally getting the best of him. They've invested the Nightfall as well. All 3 of them, well, 3 of them are going to be tagged. The only one who's not is Benji Fishy, who's playing a little bit further off, waiting for any flank that might come through. His Life falls, still attempting to get through main.
How
The spam onto the spike, trying to conceal the still gets a kill they need. And now Lysor with no time, no teammates, no armor, very little health, is able to drop 2 with him. That's another round going the way of Heretics.
And he dies for that too. That's almost not worth with the economy that FPX is sitting on. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get those extra kills. Maybe that's a feel-good moment for you, but I mean, Woot's just too clean. I mean, Autumn, last time he challenged that position, did very well. This time Woot's ready for it, just takes him down. Life with a tap of the spike here to bait out the util. I like that, but his gate crash got cleaned by Team Heretics. That was going into the next corner. They took it down.
It was the fatal should have concealed everything, right? They couldn't have heard it with the exception of Benji
very
Fishy.
true. You got a good point there.
The only one who wasn't tagged, and that must have been the cue for them to step onto the
700 570 हो गए भाई 30 more to go for 600.
Here goes Life again. Done.
And he goes straight into the next. This has been a slaughter.
Nice one, Woot.
Absolute slaughter.
Wooting का कीवर्ड आता है भाई, बहुत तगड़ा.
I mean, they do have 3 rifles to play around though. They've been
और वो सिर्फ न्यूजीलैंड में मिलता है.
He doesn't know.
भाई बन के करो.
Oh my
अब भाई
You just made that look like mechanic.
लोगों का टेस्ट भी तो होना चाहिए ना ऐसा.
That did not look
क्या ही
human.
कर सकते हैं.
They're
अपन तो
feeling
सभी
it.
कुछ खेलता है.
It's insane. That was absolutely
हॉरर
nuts
गेम्स
from
की भी
him.
आती है, माइनक्राफ्ट की भी
This
आती
feels
है.
like the Heretics that we saw
आ जाता है
in their first
कभी-कभी.
match. Yes.
स्ट्रीम करता
Of the
हूँ.
tournament. And
Watch
I
parties
think
होती है,
the
horror
devastating
stream
question
करता हूँ
that has
late
to be
night.
answered
Eh,
in the
देखी
shroud
जाएगी.
of
हो
silence
जाएगा.
that's facing the question is, how do you stop this? How do you slow this down? Because I think you pose that question to FPX right now, you're going to be met with crickets.
Yep.
They have no answers.
Done. And on this map on attacker side, that's to put up a showing like this. And think about this, Doug. after this, we find out the order of how the teams are going to be able to pick their opponents, right? I'm watching this game, and maybe you're thinking this is one of the teams you're looking at. Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
How about we knock them down the list?
Yeah.
1 or 2 spots.
How about Gen G?
All of a sudden, texture doesn't sound so bad.
This Woot guy's kind of good.
22-4. I believe the greatest KD difference and ACS record was set by
अरे
Tex.
हक गया.
Yes, plus 25.
Yeah,
against
something
F4Q.
stupid like that. Yeah.
I remember.
And I wonder, I mean, we may be flirting with history here. And unfortunately, that's not the history FPX was looking to make.
Well, that's a record I didn't think
आज
would be
क्या कर
broken.
रही है?
And then Woot happened.
Yes.
FPX fully investing into trying to hold B main. Woot once again with a height advantage.
Nice
Right
run.
in between Berlin's eyes.
Unbelievable. And they have the neural theft too. I mean, all the information in the world to work with. They see some space over on A. Woot being very patient with it, knowing that he's not exactly sure what's around that corner. One way comes down again, so have to take your time and use the owl drone to make sure that you're safe to move a little bit forward. The paranoia, but really doesn't catch anybody on Team Heretics, just the owl drone itself, so it's free reign for them. Let's see what FPX can do.
I wonder
इसका
if Gen G's
400
to
में
hit here,
बर्बाद
because they
भाई.
have to understand that FPX is rotated. I mean, they haven't tried concealing their approach. They haven't tried concealing this attempt. But it doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter. They're fully transparent in their
30 seconds
intentions,
left.
and they're still finding success.
Every time FPX wants to do something, peek, use util, it's shut right down. There's no answers that FPX has been able to find that haven't been read and accounted for by Team Heretics.
Team A.
A
It's
10-1 bro, 10-1. First map
And
पे चल रहा
their
TS
map
का
pick,
ही है.
yeah, you know,
Last
all that
round before the
nonsense.
switch.
But even going up against your opposition's map pick, as you mentioned earlier in the cast, this is a good map for them. It was a good map for them this tournament.
Yep.
And they look like they've never played it before.
No, you're absolutely right. This is a good map. Also at the group stage, during stage 1, for FPX as well. I think they were like 67% on this map, like 2-1. It is shocking, to be honest. I did not expect FPX to come out like this. They're usually hot off the start. Against Gen G, they were...
Well, आज मैं एक ही मैच
rolling on
स्कोर करूँगा cause I 300 need some rest.
The paranoia is super
Oh.
early. There's a little bit of a swing.
Why
on
FPX,
Mayan. He
yeah.
tried catching the timing, but
क्या हो गया?
Tatatak was ahead of it.
क्या हमेशा उल्टी फटती है भाई? क्या सीन है वो?
Okay, here comes the dimensional drift. An opportunity here. Is he just going to go for this? No. Okay. Just got the info.
Yeah, he just gets info, and then they can kind of control where he is. I'm surprised they didn't really understand where
Oh, nice! Sorry,
he gets
sorry,
his two,
sorry.
but so does Boo. They've got to shut the door on this round. An 11-1 lead going into halftime.
Hey, Ethan, yaar,
He's
क्या
gotten so
प्यारी
close,
स्टिक लगती है.
but again, it's a 1-for-1, and those numbers don't add up.
See, Autumn's not going to get a chance now to use his neural theft either.
No,
He-
He's going to have to
fucking
rely on his
fire
own
speed.
shooting. There's
We'll
no
see,
dead
man.
bodies on the other side of the map for him to pop that ult.
Good,
Try to get a little bit of extra info. It's just going to have to be on his trap wires that are still here.
and they've both just been hit. The knife tagged him, so they're able to cross on past the second. He's got to know that they're
Wait.
coming. The Woot will fall.
Oh! My time,
Close
my
to close the half for FPX.
just Valorant things. Why?
Well, we'll see. I mean, can FPX
Just Valorant things.
channel another miracle like they did against Foot on Icebox? Are they going to be able to find that unbelievable comeback? That's the real question. I mean, Autumn's been great for them, especially in clutch moments in this event. It's nice to see him step up here. I guess, frankly, the 2 rounds they won were him.
But FPX में तुम round क्यों निकाल
Get
रहे
another
हो?
round in B main.
खत्म करो, हार जाओ.
1v2 at the end.
जरूरत नहीं है.
Gets them to 2 rounds, an 8-round lead between the two. We're going to take a listen to an Omen player moments with Benji
अरे
Fishy,
तुम क्या
who's
हो
currently
गया? भाई
sitting on
तुम
an 8-round
कहाँ
lead. Take a
8
listen.
घंटे बाद रिप्लाई कर रहे हो? क्या सीन है तुम्हारा?
Hello guys, I am Benji Fishy and I am a Valorant player for Team Heretics. You know, it's a hard loss. I think after the first map that we won, we felt pretty confident. I think they played really well on the second map on Vines, and on Split, you know, we had some. It's probably one of the most annoying maps, and how many like swing rounds that were important, like that we just lost. We kind of lost to ourselves on that map, so you can't be too upset about a loss, especially when you're not out of the tournament yet. So we're just gonna, you know, regain our momentum.
Patience back over, and then they went back C and cleared the trip. Or the cam, excuse me, but Leaf will fall anyway. The paranoia in his face, and he connects with 2. It's another slaughter.
I think the person that kind of, you know, grounds us and keeps us, you know, focused is probably Booth.
इस एलसी जैसे कि दिखता है थोड़ा सा, but थोड़ा उल्टा.
Like crazy rounds, whatever, like we lose.
Like थोड़ा low power एलसी.
Or something like that. Like he's kind of there just to chill us down a little bit. I just want to thank all the fans that are supporting us, you know, especially during hard losses like this one against G2. We really appreciate it. You know, when you have these hard losses, it's kind of the fans that can help you get through it. So yeah, big thank you to all the Heretics fans over here in China. You know, I think we gained a little bit of a fan base here, so I appreciate you guys a lot.
The mic is the broken is the new mic is the coming on 29.
Feels like a distant memory. Bro, that seems like something that's so far in the rear view mirror, it's been entirely forgotten. It's all vibes, all steam ahead for Heretics, and I mean, a lot of it maybe doesn't necessarily reflect in the kill feed or in the scoreboard, but
sorry for the
vibes come from
guys.
this cat right here.
I mean, I've so enjoyed watching Benji Fish this year. The way that he is perpetually positive. He's just always bigging up his team. His mechanics are out of this world. It never seems like he lets go of the gas pedal, and that's something that has been a big part of their success so far this year, is all of those in-game and out-of-game things are just truly astounding, and something that any Valorant team would love to have.
It was 29. Now I don't
Team
know.
Heretics doing a great job getting him onto this roster, finding a great pickup for their team. Gate Crash going to be set up behind.
But I think
They try to work their way forward. Going to use that fake out, but not really much to do with it except back off for Team Heretics with this high tide here. Again, you're just not exactly sure now. Is FPX going to commit to this or not? Are they going to try to challenge on the other side or not?
Oh, and I think that's the thing. The first time we saw FPX play this map, they did such a good job of feeling out the map, finding out where utility was, and then hitting the opposite side. They did such a good job of manipulating rotations like a puppet master to find open space and then capitalize on it. So the thing about this approach that I'm seeing here is there's nothing set up to take space elsewhere.
Correct.
They made plenty of noise A, but there was nothing B main. There was nothing already up on market. Now they're poised to do a little bit more of that with a little bit of presence B, but the spike is down. It's going to be a life to pick us up. If he falls too, this could be disaster, but manages to stay alive, manages to drop Rians. Now, FPX still had an opportunity to close this thing out 1-for-1. Benji Fishy getting the best of Ayang. Autumn got messy. That was ugly. But still, 10 seconds left. He's not going to make it.
It's actually not possible. Just need to survive. I mean, that works too.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have had time to plan it anyway, but this is unfortunately also the problem with this approach on the attack side, is if you burn that midnight oil a little bit too much, if that candle gets a little bit too low, the wick extinguishes.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to really do anything, and that's part of what FPX ran into there.
And it's concerning, Doug, because as great as FPX has been this event, the first 2 matches, they were superb. They were phenomenal. I was enthralled with this team. I predicted them to win today, and I believed in that.
Likewise.
That isn't like a hometown advantage or anything like that.
No, likewise, yeah.
I was bought in, but the brightest flames sometimes burn the quickest, and that may be what we're seeing here today.
That's definitely been the case on Sunset. We'll see if the rest of the series has anything else to say. No force on the side of the attack. A heavy lean B. Life has already gotten out towards site and is tagged for it. The small price he had to pay was a 70 HP. Ooh,
Hey, catch it.
a little 1-for-1 there. And a little bit of info gathered.
Nice.
They're making this expensive, if nothing else. Autumn's caught, though. He's really got nowhere to go. And the bigger issue with that is that now Ayang is by himself.
Got the gun.
The Guardian so hard to steady shots.
Bro, low FF. Nice.
But he'll nail it. And now it's on Autumn to try to rotate back B and pick up the pieces.
Just the Sheriff to work with. No guns until he...
Gain 1v3, but Autumn man कुछ भी कर सकता है, ठीक है? ये बंदे से
give
डर
that
के रहने
space
का.
open, but you can see Woot watching it very closely. It gets clipped in the leg, but now that's info given over, and now Heretics can just
30 seconds left.
smoke him out and wait him out.
I know Autumn's laughing. He understands.
He knows.
His situation, his life has been decided. It's been accounted for.
Now one-sided match.
Oh,
Yes,
does
sir.
someone got behind him? Nope.
That's just such a miserable position to be in.
यही
It is.
होता
So
है.
Heretics will get to map point. Yes, their map pick, but a complete slaughter.
भाई
of FPX
TH
from top to
EMEA
bottom.
का
Well,
है
this
step
is
2 मतलब वो Fnatic से लड़ी
More
थी.
dominant than what they
फिर
showed
भी
against
second आई
DRG.
मतलब obviously टीम में कुछ
That's
तो
crazy
होगा
to
ना.
think about.
The
I
team
mean,
that many
Fnatic से
people
भाई
considered the
मजाक क्या.
unfortunately the worst team
मैं
here
तो
in the
बस
tournament.
Sure.
आज स्मिथ
Absolutely.
का लास्ट
And
है लाइक आज
DRG, to their
स्मिथ
credit,
का फाइनल्स
played
है.
out of their minds
कल से
yesterday on
प्लेऑफ
defense,
शुरू हो जाएगी
They
जिसमें
did.
Fnatic भी होगी.
Their ability to
फिर
bounce back
पेपर
and,
एक्स भी होगा.
kind of
लेट्स
what
गो.
could be a
फिर
situation
NRG
that
भी
some
होगी.
teams might just kind of roll over a bit, but here for FPX,
बहुत बढ़िया भाई.
it's just not their day so far. And I mean, at this point,
तो गवाह
10 in a
चिल्ला
row
दूंगा भाई.
seems
मोस्टर डर के अल्फा
unthinkable.
क्रॉनिकल लियो है.
that seems like a 1 in a billion.
A fairy tale.
Cover going out.
No, they're just going to try to spread the map this time. Try to get through. That's just the fake out. Getting the info on where Benji Fishy's util is. But Wood is confident, aggressive, going for some more kills.
If I was 25 and 6, I'd be confident too. 25 and 7 now.
Gonna use their util. I mean, this is looking more like what you like to see from FPX, where they're using these smokes to take space, to get information, using their util to clean out the opponent's util. But it's come so late, Doug.
Yeah. They dug themselves so deep a hole at the beginning of this map. The first half goes so horribly sideways.
And then you lose the pistol.
Right, and it's over. It's wraps.
Too suppressed.
But for the culture, this would be the most ridiculous comeback of all time.
30
It would.
seconds left.
This would be the most ridiculous.
Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Berlin falls a 4v4 for the rest of the round. Potentially the closing moments of Sunset.
Time. They got to make the hit, and they got to make it now.
They've got Autumn in a really nice spot, though, to strike, and that's exactly what he does. So they're going to get the space they need to get the spike down and play at least one more round.
Spike planted.
And that they do. FPX up to 3.
For what it's worth, that's a fantastic round.
It was, yeah.
It's
it was
all
great.
the things that you want out of this team. Out of this composition. Baiting util, clearing space with smokes, working the site, expecting the lurks, cleaning those out, getting some deep pushes, finding flank angles. It's hard to draw up a round better than they just played that one. But it's such a long road ahead. And even after this map, going into map 2, another map that both teams are very, very good at. And, you know, they were just barely able to beat Gen G in overtime on Lotus. Heretics looked great against G2. So this is worrying, to say the least.
Conventional wisdom would suggest that we're likely going to play another round, given the bye for Heretics and how underwhelming it is, just a Guardian in the hand of Rians. But
Guardian
we've seen
doesn't
the number of
bulldog
times in this
there, or at
tournament
least
already.
some spam
These
या
are often
burst
the
में
rounds
खेल
that
सकते
close
हैं.
maps.
Yes, and these players are nuts. Individually, the mechanics have shined today, shined throughout this event. So they can pop off with those sheriffs and just end your round in a heartbeat.
घुसने मत दो भाई TH घुसने मत
So a
दो.
lot of space being given up in mid, but
Easy.
again, this is pretty par for the course.
इसके बाद
so far for Team
लोटस
Heretics
है
on
यार.
Heretics on
3
their
सेट
defender
वाला
side.
मैच. कुछ भी हो सकता है.
They're happy to try to catch you on the way into these sites. And I think eventually, FPX is probably going to not like what they see. They're going to use the dimensional drift to try to clear. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Find Benji Fishy, you find the trap wire, you're finding Riens, getting a lot of info, you're getting a lot of space. Should be able to get this plant down, I suspect.
Across the middle of the map, too. They're so far inserted here. Paranoia, but no one there on the challenge. Autumn holding over the shoulders. The second Paranoia goes out. Woot goes aggressive. The satchel in his face, not able to steady the shots of the Sheriff. Pad attack on the swing, and Benji Fishy tries to punish with the classic. And it's a 1v1. But Ion saves the day just when it looked like it was going to be disaster again.
Wait,
The
no.
1v1 goes the way of the home crowd.
I mean, it's
No
a beautiful
production. What the fuck?
to set
Update.
up this market push. It's just the gun advantage is so firmly in the control of FPX here. The Red Bull clutch going their way. I mean, Patty Tech. Nasty, nasty shots. Weakened life there off the back of Benji Fishy's classic. Gives him that third. Stepping out, Ion, very ready for it. And look, here's something you can say. Let's say they string together 3 or 4 more rounds here as FPX. That's a lot of confidence going into the next map.
Sure, if nothing else.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a tough way for that to go, too, on the replay. You can see it, Patatek, his flash didn't clear the corner. He had flashed himself, and there wasn't really anything on the other side, so just a tough way for that to go, but still 8 rounds to go. Still 8 rounds to play around.
Here's that same high tide. Boo does clear some of that utility, but he's going to try to maybe challenge that a little bit, see if he can get a pick. A lot of time bought for the rotations to come through for the rest of Team Heretics. They're going to try to contain FPX if they can.
खत्म करो TH, खत्म करो please.
FPX doesn't like it anymore. They're going to spread them out.
No, I want to
They did draw
beg
the
you. Fuck
paranoia
off.
from Boo, though.
अरे यार ये क्या बोल रहा हूँ? मैं टेंशन हो
By
जाऊँगा
a
ऐसे.
little bit more time.
मतलब खत्म करो यार एक ही
Meanwhile,
राउंड
Lifer
से.
using his towards market.
समझ रहे हो?
Benji Fishy again with a lot of pressure. This
मार
is
मार मार
what we
अरे और
expected.
करता
Yeah,
था.
all of the noise they just made market intended to manipulate rotations for them to go back B and then them strike A. And they find a little
Ooh,
bit of
shot,
space, but
nice.
Wood is still around. Finally falling, but not without getting his damage, not without getting his 2 kills. Now Reckoning intended to push Heretics back by a little bit of time. Now the ferocious attempt at a retake is afoot. Benji Fishy has his ult. No real target to use it on Berlin on the
Nice.
same. He pays for it with his life as he falls. Ion and Lysor are the only 2 remaining to try to keep this map alive. To spam through the smoke, not connecting. But
अरे
he's
यार दोनों
both
लोग
members weak. But still so much to do. Can Ion close it out on his own? Can he stay alive to get all 3? Oh, the clip runs dry.
Oh भाई,
What a sad
भाई fuck, भाई मेरे को लगा हो गया
win
इनका.
for Heretics.
Just came out the gate
Fuck
swinging
भाई,
and
मेरे
never
को लगा
stopped.
हो गया इनका.
A flurry of blows.
चलो भाई,
Never ended.
first map TH के हाथ
To
में.
map 2 we go. On the other side of this break, Lotus is waiting for us.
Coming
We'll
up
be
is
right back.
low chess. Low chess. Alright, बात करते हैं. अच्छा नहीं लगता क्या सीन है? प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आ रही है कि मैंने what the fuck is it? ये तो वही ये नहीं ये लोग गुड अभी बस यही से बात करनी है. एक मिनट. ठीक है. थोड़ा फिर ऐसा है. ये आती है अगर किसी को स्ट्रीम कर लिया है तो ये बढ़िया है भाई. यहाँ से लाइसेंस वगैरह भी मिल जाता है.
on attacking side, we are really confident about that. And their comps also change a lot, so I think we have the strategy to deal with that, to counter that too.
Oh, thank you very much, Luna. Thank you very much, Coach Nathan D. I can't wait to see it.
Well, if you're an FPX fan, you want to be ready for whatever is to come, because Heretics are certainly not going to let up on the pressure. Here's your agent select as we get ready for Lotus Kukuka.
I'm so surprised because Heretics has decided to start on the defense here. Now that gets me very excited. Are we going to see that Benji Fisher will be operating, locking down Odyssey and fighting from out if he gets the opportunity? Also picking up on what the coach said. Of course, maybe seeing some crazy plays from the attack and life on that either outlaw operator could be the change.
Team Heretics' defense was incredible on this map last time they played it. The breach combinations with Woot are on point. They're in a great position to 2-0 and lock the first international playoffs for this Team Heretics team. If they can do it, that'll send FPX home and mean only one Chinese team in the playoffs.
All right, well, let's go ahead and send it back over to your casters to call the action for the second map.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, Lotus to decide potentially how this thing goes. Of course, I know. I mean, I won't say uneducated man.
यार
So
देखो
I'm not
TH खेल रही है
anyone's
अभी
ever
भी
said
TH
to me on a cast,
खेलेगी
by the way.
2-0
Well, I mean,
GG's.
consider who I usually cast with. Yeah.
I'll talk to him. I'll put in good word for you. I certainly hope this goes to Icebox. But we'll
Hey,
see what
Corey,
Icebox do. I
I
think the one benefit to him, and I believe Mimi was talking about it on the desk, is it's an interesting decision for them to start off on the defensive side, or maybe it was Kukuga. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. But for FPX to start on attack should give them a little bit of room here.
I agree. I think this is
Even
obviously the
though
side that
वो भी गए
FPX
हुए
has
थे
looked amazing on,
जिंदगी
Right.
not just against Shinji, but throughout their entire stage 1. On this particular map, it's really explosive. They're really difficult to deal with. They've got such great reads on their opponent's positionings off the back of their own smokes. Like, how many times do we see them just know exactly when one of their smokes goes down, that they're just right there and ready to take them out? I mean, that's a huge advantage of having the Astra and the Viper, is you control the tempo of that controller utility to your own desire. And they were just shutting Genji down on this attacker side.
We're starting to see some adjustments, at least from
मैं
FPX,
सोच रहा हूँ
on
दिल्ली में
how they're
फ्रिज की दुकान
solving
खोल
the
दूँ
issue of not being able to
Genji
reposition
का
your
मैच
level.
नहीं है
Generally, it's an
Genji का-
orb that's put where the Omen
पता
Smoke
नहीं,
was
अभी तक
just a
tables
moment
में
ago,
दिखा
so you
तो
can
नहीं
get
रहा।
the cross and not have to worry about stairs and then scale up and then reposition it, put the orb further back. This time they're using an Omen Smoke. Autumn still has his orb.
आज क्या है ना, ये जो
Just little
स्विच
micro
स्टेज
decisions
है ना,
here,
उसका
investing in
लास्ट
stairs.
है
Yeah, I
डे
really
4
like the way that they
कल से
control
प्लेऑफ
space,
शुरू हो
they give
जाएगा
themselves all
प्लेऑफ में
that
सारी
ground,
टीम्स
that
खेलेगी
wall. But
जो
Life
ये
just
सारे
couldn't
टूर्नामेंट्स में
gets caught
फर्स्ट
in the
आएगी ना वो
Instantly gets spammed too.
अभी जितने मैचेस हुए वो सारे टूर्नामेंट्स में सेकंड थर्ड आई थी इन सब के मैचेस में माइक कब आ रहा है वेडनेसडे
The snap on Wood is perfect, and he's the one that's got to go down. He was a terror in the previous map, and it seems like Life is taking over where Wood left off. A massive start for FPX. He's got 4, and at this point, you got to go for it.
They want it.
yes
Might not get it, though.
नहीं देगी
Who is going the other way? Autumn gonna clean it up, but Omi,
Get out of here.
that's a good way to start things off. That's a good way to get that sunset out of your memory, to wipe the slate clean, to reset. And Life doesn't get much better than this. 3 headshots with the Sheriff. That third one is nasty.
3 bullets, 3 kills. Hey, it was perfect.
Something they couldn't do on Sunset, win a pistol. Starting things off on the right foot. And yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking back to the fact that Heretics did pick defender side first. I think that's a confident decision in a way, but it's potentially the wrong one. And these Outlaws in particular were so difficult for Genji to deal with, especially on this attacker side. Life was just, this was murderer's row here for him.
May have just spotted his first target too. Boo taking a step back, choosing not to jump spot anymore, wisely.
He learned from Texture's mistakes.
They're spreading the map here a little bit. A tap of the door from Berlin towards C. And it is going to cause rotates.
Yeah, they're being really cautious with this early utility. They're really trying to figure out where the stack is as best as they can, but Heretics is pushed so far back. I mean, they're not giving up any space, any info. Or they're giving up space, they're not giving up info in terms of where their position is, and they're trying to be quick to rotate, trying to hit FPX at the point of attack. It's going to be a pivot over towards the B site, potentially have that trap wire there, give you the info, but here they go.
Oh, that nade. That's a little friendly fire. It didn't fully clear.
Left.
Ion turning over on the flash. Berlin teeing off with 2. That outlaw costed so many problems. That's a great round from FPX, all things considered.
Huge. You keep both Vandals and both Outlaws? It doesn't get any better than that. Unless you keep 5, but I mean, in some ways you don't really care. You get the orb anyway. The weakest gun is gone from that buy. And now you force your opponents to have to buy those full armors. That is disgusting.
Yeah, that second shot was filth.
Oh my gosh. Different map, different team so far. And that's what you want.
Careful.
You know, they've been really cautious at the beginning of these rounds. It wasn't until towards the end of the half and the end of the map where it got really kind of cluttered and messy between FPX and Gen G. This is where FPX was at their best, was when they were taking their time. They were finding players out. They were getting the info, using their smokes later to cover their moves. And these Outlaws are just so difficult. There's only one player, though, Benji Fishy, who's one shot to these. Of course, he is the player that could be first up.
Naturally, the first to be challenged. Cam currently not triggered.
No breakfast over.
Oh, he's played a little limbo. He's gotten under it, and he has no idea. I love it. I love it, Doug. Now the site wide open. They have some utility. You see some of it used there by Rians to try to kind of dissuade the plan for a little bit longer to buy some time. Nade is going to hurt a tad more, not really connecting on the suck combo. Numbers heavily in way of FPX. Rians was just flashed 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. Now the smoke. Spam comes through. He can't really cross, not safely. This has all the makings of a bonus.
You got to save. And I think they know it.
I love this from FPX too. They're going to push it. Smelling blood in the water, they decide that they want to hunt. The question is, how far will they go?
Ooh, trying to separate himself as much as he can from FPX, but there's still a bit of time
We are very near.
to find him.
We are very close to
some
600 subscribers. We need
Swiggity
only 30 more
Ah, they're not coming
subscribers.
for it anymore.
Don't forget to share the channel.
Just ruined
We
the
are
line,
friends.
man. That's
I know.
tragic.
They did you dirty there, Doug.
But that is a bonus conversion. And again, we just watched a team get obliterated on Sunset. They only won 4 rounds. They're already up to 3 here. Winning the bonus is massive and putting together a really good half here.
This is phenomenal. I'm so ecstatic with FPX's ability to bounce back after an incredibly rough map. And they're right back into it. I mean, again, these Outlaws, if you can keep them through the bonus, then your opponent's just even more in trouble.
What?
Shots not
What
settling.
the fuck, bro?
They did lose life. But they have, I mean, literally every other advantage you could possibly fathom. Rians with info and space. Flash
Nice.
in the face of Ion.
Down A.
Will drop him too, but ultimately falls. Meets a similar outcome.
Did what he could, Doug. He played
yeah.
that angle really well. The way he staggered his backpedaling through that flash out at a perfect time. All the work in the world to do, and that felt like it took a little bit too long for FPX. They said, gave him too much time to rotate, show him a different look. Still that C's to work with for Pat Attack.
And again, man, this is where FPX are at their best. This is why their attack side is so much fun to watch. Is those little things, and honestly, they're doing it when they have a numbers advantage and a gun advantage. They're not risking anything by just fully sending into A. Even in advantageous situations, they're playing the map carefully. Berlin slams the door on what was almost really bad. I thought Benji was going for a clip there.
It had that moment where it felt like it, but
Yeah,
this is FPX at their best. Now Life has the showstopper, so even though you're finally able to get back into a buy here as Heretics, you're going to pump the brakes and think about it, and I think this is very wise. Stop this bleeding as soon as possible. Saw how out of control it got on Sunset. For their opponents. Take some time to think about it. I think we talked a lot about the pressure on FPX. We talked a lot about being in front of the home crowd, all these things. There's a ton of pressure on Heretics today too here, Doug, because for them, for EMEA as a region as well, you know, Madrid was an event to forget. Yeah, it was probably the worst event that that region has ever had. And to be able to come through here and maybe, who knows, get through with a win, hard to say for sure, would be massive to just show that that Madrid was just a fluke, an aberration for EMEA as a region, to show that they are still a force to be reckoned with. So, you know, Heretics, they've been great under pressure throughout this stage, this event, doing pretty well with it too.
FPX,
they looked, I mean, unbeatable on Sunset, but here it's...
नहीं अब I guess TH मारेगा. I don't think so कि TH इतना अच्छा lead करवाएगा.
It's a tale of two.
I was उन्होंने first match जीता, obviously उसको third match नहीं जाना है.
Of Sunset up until now. I think you're right. You make a really good point on EMEA as a region. They have winning built into their DNA. Correct. And you think about the tenure of Valorant and the pedigree that they've been able to put together, the resume that they've amassed. And you're playing for more than yourself when you come to these international stages. You're playing for regional pride, and I think for Heretics, it looked really good on Sunset, but it's been anything but on Lotus. So on the other side of this timeout, we'll see what adjustments have been made. See a little bit of a different look on how Benji's set up his trips.
Early operator for life. Once again, so much value out of those snipers on this map for him. And now he has the showstopper as well, so kind of curious how they're going to run that. If they're going to drop it and let him use his utility entry, or if they're going to try the Thrash for the entry, maybe on B side or something like that. Do what they've been doing all map, kind of rotate back over to A, cut off Baby Door, and then swing back through. And you've got so much potential with that showstopper and a Thrash to clear that site.
You call it Baby Door?
Yeah. Is that not what you call it? What do you call it?
We're having this conversation later. Oh. You see so much utility invested. They haven't really gained a ton of space. Now to see the smoke go out backstairs, traded by Booze, and there's the Thrash that they're going to use. Life did drop the op, but turned it over into hands of Autumn, so now Life perhaps a little bit more unleashed. That's a point. Up close and personal point, blank up. Oh, where did the bullets go? What? They all disappeared. Life still with the punish.
Is there a force field there?
And now 13 seconds left. Nice. They still haven't fully stabilized onto the site. They've got to get the spike down, and you've got to deal with Benji Fish, who's on the flank. His timing is perfect. The first shot delivered. The second, devastating. Everything going the way of Heretics there.
Come back, guys. Come back.
Oh my. I mean, that looked like it was going to be disaster for Heretics. Somehow, Autumn survives.
यार इनको तो कितने सारे प्रीमियम कॉपी वगैरह मिलती होगी ना भाई जैसे चाहिए वो टॉप क्वालिटी
Where does it go? Unbelievable there. I mean, at least Life able to get Woot, but that huge entry kill from Riens opens up just that extra angle, I think, here for Benji Fishy to wrap around the backside, and he played that beautifully. There is no better way to do what he just did. He knew the time that was left on the clock, and he knew he could take that extra second to look for the planter, take them down, and really guarantee the round. Excellent, excellent heads-up play from Benji Fishy.
A play that we've seen botched on so many different occasions.
But he's so good on Cypher. I've just been enthralled watching him this year, Doug. The way that he manages his own sites, the way that he anchors, the way that he outthinks people in particular is so impressive.
He's
so maneuverable, so aware of what's going on around him and the space that he can use against his opponents. I think back to like that split 4K he had earlier this year was nuts.
They're going to need more out of him if Heretics want to make this thing competitive again, because FPX have really, other than that moment, have played borderline perfect Valorant.
Yes.
And they're back to these similar antics again, making noise at different areas around the site. They just dropped a Paranoia back towards Worm, but now fully committing. That's going to draw out the running fire. Spike is still sitting back B main. They're happy to cut their losses and then flip. But Heretics a step ahead of it here. They're already rotating on to C. The Cosmic Divide will only buy so much time because they're already ahead of it. Who gets a drops Berlin? Ion and Lysor are the only two that remain with 10 seconds left. There's no room to be had. There's no spike to be planted. That's another round away of Heretics.
Awesome stuff here from both teams. Honestly, I really like the thought process into what goes into this round. For Heretics, it's kind of simple. Rolling Thunder into a showstopper. Easy combo.
Yeah, that works great.
29 तारीख को तुम देखो भाई 29 तारीख को तुम देखो मैं जो चिल्ला रहा हूँ
to that Rolling Thunder, essentially. Everybody else can get out and try to rotate. It's just same Heretics makes a great call in the back of that Cosmic Divide to get ahead of it. To just say, nope, okay, we're going to push past it, and we're going to start knocking people down.
Well, and I think they're starting to get a read on how FPX like to play. And we've been talking about this entire series. FPX commit just enough to make you think that it's the real hit. But then you commit to it in response and you realize it's all just smoke and mirrors, and they're actually flipping the map somewhere else. In that instance, it felt like Heretics dialed in on it. They were a step ahead of it.
Yeah, and credit to Boo there.
फिर
Flight
lower round आएगा
Heretics. The rest of that squad. Flight's going to be watching out, suspecting someone's going to be here. Get
कलर परसों को वॉच पार्टी नहीं रहेगी रात को नॉर्मल स्ट्रीम रहेगी
Fortunately, though,
है ही नहीं
Paranoia
मैचेस
kept
नहीं है
that
क्या
tech away
देखो
from being able to punish. Now a dog in his face, and they traded for it. Wingman going in, and just like that, dying. But they've committed to this here.
28
Berlin is going to be really far away from the play, but they've dropped the pit as well.
नॉर्मल स्ट्रीम 30 को फिर से मैच
Now all of the green goo obfuscating the view of the defenses.
So the Paranoia to clear
6
for Heretics.
3 दिन वापस से नॉर्मल स्ट्रीम
They have so many
9
numbers.
for this final
They have a
then
lot of
normal
flexibility
streams.
here. Very nicely done. That's a really nice audible on the fly. That call from FPX to fully commit to it there, not try to play any games, catches Heretics off guard.
But you were just talking about it, Doug. The way that they would hit a site and then pull back and go somewhere else. This time they commit, and it catches Heretics enough off guard that they're able to find some big kills on the way through. A lot of util being exchanged, but it goes the way of FPX off the rip. And then there's not much you can do with that Viper's pit. Really only one piece of utility left, and that's that Paranoia to try to clear it. Sure, you've got blast packs to maybe get over it for Woot, but when they tried to go for the double swing into it, they were just shut instantly down. And Ion, great awareness. Him and Autumn combining to make sure that link angle is untenable.
You really need, I mean, you need Patatech alive there. You need the dog. You need some sort of other reconnaissance utility to try to create some space there for you. That just wasn't part of their arsenal in that moment.
Yeah, it's just like on a lot of maps where the Sova is kind of the only answer sometimes to the Viper's pit. Same thing with the Fade here for the comp of Team Heretics.
And so into the next we go. FPX with a 3-round lead, starting to see adjustments and minor maneuvers on both sides of the stage.
This is one of the things I love about FPX on this map is they read their opponent's economy, know that most of their players are going to be on half armors and go for the outlaw. They've been doing this so much on this map, and it's just great awareness from their team to be able to punish. Not just in terms of having essentially, you know, what turns into a two-shot operator against those half armors, but you also save a little bit of extra cash for yourself, potentially upgrade to that operator later. It's all these things that FPX has on this map. Berlin catches Benji Fishy.
Oh, almost punished. But Woot hunts him down. Now what do FPX do off of that? A little 1-for-1. Ideally, Berlin's able to get away from that unscathed, but a lot of space has been taken by Boo, and a lot of info is currently being picked up. He has his Paranoia. How does he play his cards? Patience on the swing, and Boo will fall. Life saving the day. Patatech is his ult, but he's so far away, and Rien's not allowed much longer.
And that was that outlaw against Boo. Worth its weight in gold in situations like that. And here's the best part, Doug. You win this round, look at their economy. You can just hang on to it and bank more. And it's so valuable into that next round. It's just awesome the way that FPX manipulates this map in so many different ways.
I mean, there's a very real chance that Life is sitting on another ult at the end of the next round.
Yeah. He had like 3 in the first half against Genji, I think.
The value that he gets out of that's insane.
It's beautiful. And he can upgrade to the Vandal too. That's fine.
All that conversation we had about the Outlaw
Doesn't matter.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I do think the conversation is the same though.
डिलीट वो
Because of the
मेरी
way things have played
कजिन्स और
out.
बहन और वो
They're
सब है ना वो
broke.
सारे भी
Fortunately for them,
स्नैपचैट
Hatitech
पर
is going to be
है
able to save that
तो वो
fan.
लोग मेरे को बोलते हैं अगर मेरा मतलब मैंने
But
भेजा
things
ना हो
not
ना
looking good for the
तो वो
defense.
बोलते हैं कि
No.
भेज भेज भेज
It's a
भेज
great pick there. Eventually, Benji Fishy.
तो
Yeah,
हमारी
he's
तो
so
कुछ
quick with those
600
scopes.
डेज
It's a big shot too because Boo, it looked like he was going to feast
Yes.
on
मैं
FPX
क्यों
there.
तोड़ूं
But I could kind of tell from the way they were looking
एक
when they
बार
were
एक
walking in
random
there that
photo
they
खींच के देखते
suspected
थे,
that
हो गया
maybe
पूरा
somebody
दिन
was
का।
back there. And again, their awareness through the roof. Is
FPX
FPX. They're just going to go for the full Vandals now.
तो
More outlaw in play. Figure they have enough money. They're
तू
basically
करेगा मेरे
max
को
buy
ऐसा
anyway.
तू करेगी
Might as well start going for
मैं
it.
क्यों करूँ
Got
भाई
the
I am a
flash.
broke
Got a nightfall
student
for Patty Tech. Boo gets an opener on Autumn
मत
outside of A
बोलना
main.
कुछ
Autumn
कुछ
was the
भी
only
मत
one outside
बोलना
of spawn.
हाँ बस ये था
So oftentimes, as we've seen the meta develop on Lotus, it's more of a default towards trying to take Rubble control and leaving one player to fight for Mound. Or excuse me, the other way around. And Autumn just gets punished.
It's
मेरे को
generally,
पर्पल वाली
especially for
कोरोना में चाहिए
FPX,
भाई
they kind of leave Autumn to his own devices a
Right.
lot. Kind of lurk around the map, especially when he's on
तो
Viper.
पर्पल वाला
Do
और
it
क्या
here,
होता है
do it on
बॉटल
Ascent.
दारू दारू देगा तुम्हें
Sometimes on other maps as well.
हाँ
But
चाहिए
bit
तो
of a scrape. Good fault line.
Very nice fault line. And a better use of utility to keep it
एक
back.
बार तो ड्रंक हो जाऊँ
Has the satchel away.
एक बार तो ड्रंक हो जाऊँ ऐसा सोच
That's a nice pickup to force out that satchel. He has
हाथ
none
तक
left
लगाया
for just a fault line and a
नहीं
paint shell.
बचपन में अगर
Not too bad.
अगर
Lane
अगर
used the
सर्दी
stun
हुई
there
और
too.
मम्मी ने पिलाई है तो
Provide a little
वही
bit of
बस
extra cover.
इसके अलावा खुद से
हाँ
तो
मतलब
कभी
ये है
And so they tap the door A
That
once more,
does
but
not
keep an eye on the
count,
minimap and look at where
That
life
does
is.
not.
so what do you want? Do you want to enjoy and
But there are two players here. This is
I
another
just
vintage
want
hit
to
where they
get
try
them.
to go through door and they try to punish.
मेरे पास
And
इतना
there
अच्छा
it is.
golden chance
Life
था
strikes.
but that night I fucked up.
Now a 3v3. Lysol has
Not-
to stay
I
alive here.
didn't
He's to
fuck up.
contain. If he can
You
play his
might
life,
fuck
this is
up.
going to work out really nicely. But he's punished.
कौन है VC में
Spike
स्तुति
planted a
Meow.
2v3. Ion has his ult.
But the thrash is huge.
मैं हूँ
Oh
बताओ
my.
क्या
And he's
करें
rapping. Leaving life all on
हाँ
his
कौन है
own.
VC में
Left to
कौन ही
survive as
होगा
much as he
भाई
can, as long as he can. Buy some time and maybe take a couple with him. A consolation prize, if you will.
मेरा लग
Only
मेरा
finds
लग
one.
तुमको पता है
This is
क्या
dangerous.
लगता है
He's
ज्यादा
got to be
ज्यादा
able to tag them
कौन
both.
किसको ही
Only
लेकर
finds one.
अच्छा
Rian's holding the smoke. Crosshair train. It's a tap and it's a shot from Rian's. And it's another for Heretics.
Just
I
losing
have
some of those out in the open battles, those
मुझे लगा
one-on-ones
तो
for
अपने
FPX,
चेयर
kind
से
of cost them in the long
पागल है
run.
क्या
It's a
लाइफ
great
में क्यों
initial
बात
move.
करूँगा मैं
But
लाइफ में
Heretics
क्यों
able to
बात
recover
करूँगा
and
भाई
stabilize,
सही
mostly on the back of good shooting.
We'll take a look at the MasterCard Thrifty once
That's
more. That is good shooting. You're absolutely right about that. This was so tough, man. I think
Rians, dude, Rians.
it's always fun to listen to Benji pop
मेरा
off.
नेट थक गया
Yeah, but I mean, Rian's kind of saved the day there. That's so tough for Ion
like
in that
the-
situation because
Yeah.
he's got to connect with both.
Yep.
Or hit the shot. He's not able to do either there.
Yep.
what नहीं पागल है
Here the
क्या
showstopper used at the very beginning of the round.
होती तो मेरे बाजू में ना
FPX
बैठी
can have
रहती
that round back.
मतलब
It'd be
क्या
life
होता है
playing his life.
Agreed. Agreed.
This is a free
और
site given
होती तो
over.
तुमको बता भी दे
Kind of
ना
expecting
छुपा
more
क्या ही
CB
करता
attention.
क्यों ऑफ
And this is where things are a little different. Remember how many times they've made
Show off
Jose and then
करने
they
का।
slam through the door and hit B.
Show off नहीं,
This time
बस
fully committing onto
कुछ
it.
hide
And
नहीं
you
करना
can see
समझ
because of the positioning of Heretics.
बस
That's what
उतना
they're
पता होना
expecting.
चाहिए कि है
Ready to
बस
fight.
You see,
And
you
FPX are
see,
glad
you
to try to
see.
swing through that. Panatek and Wu keep a couple back. Just two left now. Lysor and Life. A 2v2. Eye cleared, Life cleared. And Lysor with 1 HP. Just
तो वो
can't
बताएगा घंटा
Team
अरे
Heretics is starting to
भाई,
getting a feel for how this is going. And
पर्सपेक्टिव
right,
है
Doug. I mean,
तुम्हारा
they're just
इसका नाम कैसे प्रोनाउंस
starting to
करते हैं
understand.
स्टाइलिश
हवा बोल दे
you
हवा
know, when they're not challenged on B quickly or they're not challenged for some of that space and they gave it up, they're ready.
मेरे को realize
These
मैंने
crossfires
वो
are
match
brilliant for
नहीं
both sides, but it's Team Heretics who have that
Right
extra
throw
man to cover both of those angles. Someone on
ये
FPX
देखो
basically has to get a
हम
2 for
कुछ
1,
छुपाते नहीं हैं ठीक है हम
holding that
अगर होगे तो
number of players that were
पता
coming through
लग
for
जाएगा
Heretics. And I was
छुपा
just
के क्या
about to
कर
say,
रहे हो
I think we're due for an FPX timeout.
Right on cue.
And you got to look at the ult situation for Heretics right now, Doug.
उसने
It's
बराबर
everything but the
pronounce किया था
nightfall
मेरा नाम
to work with. And that's
तो मेरे को
something
तुमसे
FPX
उससे
really
हवाई
needs to
बुलवाना है
consider.
मेरी मर्जी
I think this is going to be
वाह भाई
potentially a
ठीक है ये
callback
कर
to
लेते
more of
हैं
what we saw early on in this half.
अरे अरे हंसरी
Spreading the map, trying to bait out that utility early, maybe sending a player as kind of a sacrifice to get that showstopper or something like that to come through.
Yeah, I think it has to be an adjustment back to their previous form.
ऐसे
You're
स्कूल
right.
की छोटी बच्ची होता है ना 2 छोटी वाली दिखाती
भाई मैं
And the thing is,
मैं ना
we've
मैं
seen
ये सब मेरे ट्रायो की
the
गलती
same variation of that approach a couple of times now, and that's where Heretics have started to dial in on it. So I don't know if it goes back to tackling the
लड़के
4C and then kind of playing around that, or
लड़के भी
you
दिखाओ
know, we
यार
saw a
क्या
couple
ये
of different flavors of it
किसी
earlier
को
on in the
पसंद
half,
आई
but
गई साइपर वाली
I do
लड़की
think you're right.
नहीं
Fred
भाई
this lead and
अरे
वाले की
gap
बात है
between these two squads.
भाई 2021 का VCT वॉच पार्टी में खाई थी
It has to be a couple of adjustments.
She
So we'll
was
see
the
what
one,
looks like
bhai.
on the other side of this. On the other
Hey,
side of this
bhai.
round, you mentioned it.
भाई मैंने उसको फोटो सर्च
They're
करके उसकी
in
इनसाइड निकाली
abundance
थी
outside Heretics for all
अभी
the
6-7 महीने पहले
Heretics,
उसको
the one
अनफॉलो किया
not available, as you mentioned.
And there's no A pressure at all from FPX.
So
There should be
independent
high
page भी
alert
था
for these
Oh
players
my
to be
God.
able to see that they can just hold the line at the
और फिर
entrances
जब
to the
पता चला था
side.
मैंने सीधा
He's already
अनफॉलो
ready,
किया
thinking about the C's, trying to catch them and trying to stop them. Maybe set up a combo with that aftershock.
अरे भाई
For
तुम
FPX here, your
क्या
objective
बोला
is to try to draw
हलवा
one of
समझ
these
के
ults.
रखल क्या
Get roots out,
हवला
get
हवला
reactions
समझा
out
हवला
Exactly.
from manipulating the map. It seems like that's what
इसका
they're
बोला
trying to do. There's one of them used. Oh, but you're
क्या
not supposed to pay for it with the life, and they don't. The
अच्छा
rocket
क्या है
just
तो
off the mark.
ओ यूसी
And now
इसके
Conflict
पास
Divide, invested C, the rotate back B, FPX are back to their antics. Pushing the smoke, but they pass each
ये
other.
भाई
Oh, shit,
ये
Pad attack back on the
अरे!
side. Boo falls.
नहीं!
Tech dies too. It's a disaster.
यार वो क्या विफ किया है आज मुझे हलवा
I
समझते
thought
हैं
that
हम
showstopper
सिर्फ तो
was gonna be
समझता है और
brilliant.
कोई नहीं
He's gonna
समझता
get the
भाई
win.
Sorry.
हलवा
He's
ये
gonna
है
be able to kind of stick behind Mound, maybe get one more, but he beefs it.
सभी बोल नहीं सकता
And it just all
no.
starts
Yes.
crumbling off the back of that. It just felt
अभी
like
बड़- अभी बड़ी बहन है
अभी नहीं बोल
Everything
सकता
went awry.
अब
The
शुरू बोलूंगा।
dominoes just
तूने
kept
ऑप्शन बोला
falling
मैं
one
तो
after
वहीं
another.
पिक
Now
करना
Benji get a couple,
पहुंच पाएगी
just the one.
यस
बेटा
But Doug, that was heartbreak. I like, frankly, the idea
थोड़े
behind that
malnutrition
round for
के
Heretics. The
question भी चल
execution
रहे
just
हैं।
wasn't there.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you here. I think that was FPX playing
इसमें वाला
textbook
है।
FPX.
इसके बाद
They got the ult out, and yeah, it didn't convert
कौन
because they
है,
weren't
क्या
able to
है,
land the kills on
कौन
Berlin, but instantly, as soon as that
Right.
showstopper came out, they pivoted back B. That's what they wanted to do, and then, obviously, Patatek also botches that situation. The way things
Oh,
played
वो
out,
race
as you
खेल रहा है
mentioned,
क्या?
the dominoes fell, and it was a massive
तो
cascade.
इस पे वाला
Yeah. And now we enter the last round of the half.
And Rian's never felt comfortable enough to pull the trigger on
वही है
the
क्या सच में
Rolling Thunder, so he
Honest-
still has that, but
Honestly, probably for the best.
yeah. Oh, 100%.
फिर रुक जाओ
I think as soon as that showstopper whiffed, the call was made, hey, save the rest of your ultimates. Let's not invest too much until we know that we have an
सिर्फ कुछ
opportunity.
ऑर्डर करते हुए स्टेडियम
Dude, they read him so
ओ
well.
कौन है ये
They read the fact that he recalled the smoke to potentially cross, so they missed the nade.
Oh,
They know he's
that
there.
is so sweet.
He's dead. Yeah, he
ना
takes
उसको
one with him
बोल
there.
रखा है चाहिए तो बता
That's
दे।
something that FPX does
वो
all the
मैं
time.
किसी से लेती
These extra layers of smokes, they're crossing. And you never know exactly what they're going to do, but it's just read nicely by Heretics.
इंडिपेंडेंट वुमन
And who knows, maybe Benji Fishy can go on a lurk, go for an upgrade, but that's a lot of damage to Patatek. 8 HP.
He's got to
सही
take
में
a
इतनी
step
गंदी
back.
आवाज लगती है मेरे को मैंने तेरी वो
Life
म्यूट
dance
करके
thread
रखी
utility
है
somehow gets a fadeaway shot onto Autumn.
मेरी आवाज गंदी लगती है
Unbelievable. 4v4 to close out the
रिपीट हो
half.
के आती है वापस
There's the rolling thunder.
इतना कर तो दस
Do they flood behind it?
मैंने तो करता हूँ
There's no go. There's no race to satchel up behind or anything like that, so they can't really fill the space. That means life can pounce. But it's a 1-for-1.
ऐसा तो ये कितने
Now
साल
two's
का है
left.
ये मेरे को दीदी बोल
Benji Fishy upgrading
ये
weapon.
जो साइवी
And they're trying to take these fights. They can get these
Oh.
ones if things go their way. It's a shot at it.
he
A
does
1-for-1.
all around
Boo pushing forward.
Hey,
Not sure
वो
we
तेरी
should
HP
land for him,
double है।
though.
Cover going out.
डबल
The
नहीं हूँ
first
मैं
smoke
हेलो
down.
एक्सक्यूज
The taps come through for
Who है?
Lazor. He gets his third as FPX get to 8.
He's been so good in these clutch
Yeah.
moments for
आठ के वाली
FPX
चलो
in
देख
this
सकती है
tournament.
बता
Yeah, he may not be lighting up the scoreboard all the time,
Hey, maybe
but
Birdie-
goodness, is he good for a couple of these insane clutches. And it looked like it was going to start so well
ठीक है
for Team Heretics. They had a good read, and that rolling thunder, Doug, I'm right there with you.
Oh,
I
the fuck.
thought, just go on the back of
34
it, start
today,
flooding.
23 की
But they pause, and that allows life to remain underneath that rope undetected.
ये
It causes so much damage individually.
okay. I need to control
An 8-4 half the way of FPX. We're going to throw it to the desk to break things down, see what they think about this map so far.
Exactly the response that FPX needed as they are sitting 8-4 on Lotus. But man, I mean, we'll just jump right into it for a Verizon high-speed moment. Talk about life. Okay, I mean, this kid, absolutely unbelievable stuff that we consistently see out of him, Kukuka.
The fact that we saw
It
this
is
just
an
in
unkitan
round
reaction.
number 1, this was just a tease for what was going to happen in the entirety of the half. He was
It
just
was an
jumping around,
indicator for
finding
us.
a lot of impact in
Because,
every single one of the rounds. He was being set up perfectly, and the read that they had onto Heretics was just brilliant. This is the life that we need to see for even taking this to a
बीच
third
वाली
round.
दीप्ति वापस आगे वाइट
for FPX was
शर्ट
night
ब्लैक
and day
जैकेट
compared to the first map. I think the mood rounding
भाई उसने अपने
was
स्टिकर्स नहीं
incredible
चेंज
throughout
किए
that one. They did a
जब
great
से
job of really
ये
pulling out those
शुरू
early
हुआ
team
शानदार इसने अपने
Heretics
स्टिकर्स तक चेंज
aggressive
नहीं
looks,
किए
and then finding the right site in the late round, and you combine that with every one of their individuals in fantastic
Ultra
form.
observation.
It's exactly what they need to stay alive.
I just love the way that they move around the map just so efficiently. They get something done over here, and then at the same time they're getting something done, you know, over there. It's just so well done.
It's so important because some of the questions that we have, or some of the worries that we have for FPX,
मेरे
is
को
how
फ्रेंड्स के
Heretics,
फीके जैसे
they
दिखते हैं थोड़ी
decided to
थोड़ी
start on the
सी
defense. They were going to
Same
operate.
क्या?
Well, first of all, there was no
पीछे
operator because the
वाली,
economy was
उसके
never
जैसे
built
white
up to
देखी
that
थोड़ी सी
point.
हल्की सी
Getting 4 rounds right off the bat, you know, it's
सारा साइड
just
एंगल
too good for
बहुत
FPX.
फ्री
But
से
this
मैच
is
करता
still
है
winnable for Team Heretics. It's a very
बस
attack-sided
ट्रॉफी
map.
भी
They're
थोड़ी सी
going onto
ज्यादा
their attacking
पतली
side,
सी
and with
थी
this double
ये
initiator
थोड़ी
comp,
सी
they have a lot of really good looks, especially to take early control.
Hold on, guys. FPX are fighting for their tournament life here to live on in this competition. Can they do it? Let's send it back over to the
इसकी
casters.
बहन है वो
It's
बीच
been
वाली
such a good first half, and I have really good reason to believe the rest of
जो
this will
बचाता हूँ
deliver.
वो स्टेप
FPX
निकल
looked so
पाएगा
dominant on their opening half of Lotus, and now it's on Heretics paper then to respond in kind.
It's going to be on Berlin, potentially.
भैया बच्चे
Deal
लोग
with
अपनी
this
हद में
aggressive push.
There's a lot on the other side of that. He
अभी
gets his
वही
one,
है
drops the smoke, gets away.
So good. So aware from Berlin.
मुझे मौका
And
नहीं
he's
मिल रहा देखने का तो
giving
तुम
up the
लोगों
orb,
को
but
जैसे दिखती है
taking the kill.
हाँ
And
दिख
giving
रही
a
है
lot of
दिख रही
info
है
over the rest of his
मैंने
team.
पहली बार
And it
देखा
was
था
Woot,
वही।
man. I'll give up an orb for Woot any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
Especially with how much of a terror he was on the first map.
भाई क्या शॉट मारा
The vast majority of the success he had was on the attacking side, so conventional wisdom would suggest that he's gonna find some of that streak again.
Yeah, shutting him down.
Early, you
Huge.
have to.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's a massive win for Berlin there. And I mean, everybody on FPX knew exactly where it was. They pinged it out. They literally pinged it right on our screen, and they still lost that battle. That's how good FPX is right now. Insane. Now, gonna be a little bit tricky. Hyung still has a little bit of that utility.
30
Still has the
seconds
dizzy. Still has the wingman
टीममेट
in that Gecko arsenal. To pivot over towards B. Door already open. Fault line to clear. See what life can do.
Oh, he's really far up. Ooh, he was so far up. I think he was going to re-clear B main without any real awareness of the fact that they fully lost control now. Heretics are gonna try to rotate back. They have 10 seconds left. There's a whole lot of delay on the other side of this. This paranoia will be a problem. Oh, again, disaster. Can they commit to the spike? The flood comes out from heaven. It will not go down.
Spike down A.
Neither will FPX. Unbelievable.
ये बहुत ज्यादा नहीं बच रहा है भाई तुम रुको बस
No, they
अभी
had
थोड़ा
B plant secured, and
रुक जा
that's
आ रहा है तुम्हारा
going to be
टाइम
them
भी आ
having
रहा
a
है
great opportunity in the post plant, but they make the last second decision to try to throw a curveball. And
They strike out doing so.
yeah, it's just hit out of the park here by Lysor. He plays it perfectly. He's like, oh, they're coming to me. That's cool. I've got a paranoia and a perfect angle to hit every single one of them. Good luck with that.
It was overcooked. Outlaws back online. On both sides, you see Woot Trying to punish there.
Silence spelling.
Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, Blue will fall. Oh no.
Ion?
Well,
I cut gaya.
He completely ignored it and went to grab his util.
you know,
Spike down. C.
sometimes the real victories are the knife kills we get along the way. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it all the time from you. It's classic Doug.
Rians and Woot both alive, both weak, both with weapons though.
One enemy remaining.
And naturally, as I say that, Woot falls. Yeah, I think the big consolation prize here in all this was the knife kill. They can forget about how the rest of the map goes. They got theirs.
I can see them smiling. Autumn's got a smile on his face, and they're fine with it. You know, nothing to worry about right now. You're in cruise control here as FPX. You're looking to send this to esports. Everything going your way. I mean,
that's just so silly.
This only happens with FPX playing. It's the only team you're ever going to see something like that with. It is amazing. Just beautiful.
FPX up to 10 though. An ult for Ion already. TP across and space taken from the attack side. A main is theirs.
Only one player, half armor and a Bulldog. So they went for the full armor and the Guardian. Wary of that Outlaw. Certainly our Team Heretics, and you have to be. Let's see how they went. Oh my goodness, this is going to be difficult for Benji Fishy, potentially.
I mean, if they swing into him, he's going to get 3. 1, 2, make me a profit. He only gets 2, but the damage is dealt. Berlin's playing in the smoke, and he's going to be able to counter all this by himself. He just refreshed it as well, so as soon as it goes down, he can pop it back up. He can play it so many different ways.
It's brilliant.
The problem is there's nothing on the other side of this. There's nothing for him to be able to capitalize on this position right now. He's got to swing, and it's dry.
That's tough. I think he was hoping that they would try a different side of the map. Okay, that's great for Boo, catching Lysor. Trying to make his way, trying to cheat back towards the direction of Heretic's attack. That's a great read from him.
FPX had all of the makings of converting a bonus. It's just not going their way. I think the one benefit is they're still going to have enough to buy. They're still going to have Ion Gold. So there's plenty to consider on the other side, but very well done from Heretics to avoid it. And obviously, Benji Fishy getting his 2 at the beginning of the round and leaving the 3rd in tatters helps.
And it's just, again, this is one of those rounds where it's clear that Heretics had a pretty good idea of what was going to be coming at them and was able to play around it nicely. I'm not sure necessarily that Benji expected 3, but he held the angle perfectly and expected a push out of some kind.
Yeah. So Autumn falls, Heretics will get to 5. Rian's halfway to having his Rolling Thunder online. We'll see how things play out. Yeah, they're going to be able to buy up full. A little bit of light armor on the side of Benji Fishy, but this was huge.
Massive.
And honestly, I'm surprised that the swing out from Autumn was as late as it was. He got ones that entire time.
Yep. Just a little bit of a stutter step, a little bit of a delay. Might have won him that battle, to be honest.
Oh, there's a lot of aggression going in, man.
Here we
Every
go.
single member, all 5 of them here. You got Rians, who's got the utility in hand, waiting for the right moment to strike, but there's a suck there. Life satcheling forward. The spam snooze coming over the wall. He was distracted by his friendly fire. Berlin landing a shot with the Sheriff.
I know exactly.
A 2v2 now, no effect invested. And a slow down from Heretics. They're fully committing onto this. They want to try to isolate
Last player
and pick on Lysor. And they managed to do so, getting it down to a 1v1. No utility to Rian's name here. 10 seconds to have his fault line back.
Just a snake bite for Autumn.
It's a guessing game. It's a guessing game, and Autumn has won. No idea. No way to understand where the opposition was.
It's just crazy. The recovery that FPX has inside of them. You know, I think just Life just seeing the spam coming over him, he's like, certainly my teammate must be shooting at something.
That's what I would think. I'm blind.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust them.
Yeah, I'm just going in and Cover me, guys.
That's just so tough in those instances too, because it's chaos.
Oh, उसके barrel से लगी है.
Off of what you can see, and just doesn't go his way.
Yeah, but after that, they're clean. I mean, they shut down that attack. They never give enough room over it. Actually, even though Life dies there, he buys that extra room for Berlin to push more towards Rebel, to cover those extra angles, to make it way more difficult for Heretics to get through towards A cleanly.
Well, and I would argue that even before that was where a lot of the advantages was found from Life. He was paranoid. He couldn't see a thing. Satchel's forward anyway to get to half wall, so not even really concerned about taking fights and winning them, more concerned about just his positioning in that moment.
And that's kind of one of those regional style differences that players like Life are going to have, where they don't care. You throw all the utility in the world at them, they've got a plan and they're going to stick to it, and they'll go right through it. You know, you might see some players hesitate. You might say, wait.
Yeah, not Life.
Nope.
Oh.
That's why he's so fun to watch.
When it works out, it's beautiful, it's poetic. And it's worked out for him this map, 18-9 for the Duelist.
Sheesh. A lot of ults for them to still work, but they're still sitting on the Thrash.
From round 3 of the half?
Yep.
5-11, let's go.
Yes. That's kind of situational typically.
Yeah,
taking a lot of space early. Berlin this time doesn't reveal any of his stars yet. He's just waiting. Now he's going to finally pop that smoke. Dissipates it quickly. Looking to see if he can maybe isolate a 1v1 or something.
He does have an outlaw.
That he does. And it's a good opportunity, potentially. But the lead entry players for Heretics have full armor. But with that poison cloud, he could get some damage. Right?
This angle's tight, man. This angle's really tight. The suck is good. The shot is as well. The Rolling Thunder, and he doesn't get hit. He's able to stay alive, but goes aggressive with the short. He pays for it with his life. Oh, 4v4 now. They're committing the ults. Lysor is rotated over. Life on the swing. Talk about having a plan and doing it no matter what. It's reckless, but it works. Traded in kind. Revenge.
500
so
days
sweet.
of summer, देखियो. 500 days of summer.
Unbelievable. And somehow, some way, Berlin finds one of the two players that has half armor.
Yeah.
यही था यार, कोई ऐसा भी
five members there.
65 days.
It's a shell game, and he just got lucky.
If I'm
More
not
lucky than
wrong.
good.
Unbelievable. Just, I love it. And then Life here just finds a great timing. Steps out. I mean, that's the other thing. You see this so many times where you have to be so aware against FPX. And I mean, reasonably, Team Heretics kind of was. But they'll step out at very odd timings. Now, this time they're going to use the fault line to make Berlin a little bit more uncomfortable early, kind of anticipating that he was going to challenge it. What? Okay, Rienz. With a stinger?
Yeah, Berlin got a little, we got a little too confident there. That was bold to do so blindly.
But Heretics was expecting it the whole time.
Yeah. Drop a couple of cages to cross back over. Heretics with full control, up C. I think the other benefit is Berlin had an outlaw, if I'm not mistaken, so it's not like you're dropping a rifle and giving it back over. Rienz picks it up. They're clearing the trips, and all attention turned towards C. Heretics. They want to take the fight to their doorstep. They're swinging out ahead. Ult popped, shot, and Life dead. Wu trying to steady the shot, snapping on a Lysor, but Autumn stops him. Slows things down for just a moment, trying to tip the scales back their way. But it's an overwhelming weight on the other side. Heretics get to 6.
Let's go.
Can't give this Heretics any room to breathe.
No.
You cannot afford to have those moments like Berlin had. Okay, you tried it once, that's fine, you're way ahead. Totally fine. From here on out, if you're going to challenge him, I'd say let Life do it, and let him do it maybe towards A main or something. Like, that's generally where they find success in those situations. And Life only had half armor.
As if you haven't followed me on Instagram,
Sheriff, but he's one away from the showstopper. So, could be a play, potentially get him the ult orb towards A, with all 4 of them pushing out a deep smoke as well. I think they're doing their best to try to claim that space, but it's a slow B push.
I think they thought they were going to be playing for the B orb.
Yeah. I think the Viper's pit caused them to pause to make sure it wasn't here, and now that toxic screen there. Let's see how they want to do this. They're just going to try to clear the pit. Looks like they're going to go for it, or at least consider it. But Autumn has a lot of space to work with, but he's stuck on the low ground. So if they kind of read that, could do some damage, but Showstopper not grabbed yet. There it is. Okay. Just took the UI a bit to update there.
That's been buggy.
I was like, certainly they did, right? But the start of this round, I think Heretics, if they just pressed the go button, might have had a decent opportunity. When that Viper's pick got popped and they realized it wasn't it.
Oh boy. That's the cue for him to go. He dropped Benji Fishimbu. Iron repositioning. The Nightfall out. Berlin trying to steady.
Wow.
Trying to stop. And he does. Berlin holds the line.
Yes.
Are taking us the distance.
चलो भाई थर्ड मैच
Elimination, they punch back.
अरे यार
Dominant maps. Unbelievable.
कब होगा ऐसा जब 2-0 पे मैच जीतेगा कोई एवरी टाइम ब्रो 2-0 bypass game schedule GGW FPX ये कौन सी सीक्रेट लैब थी भाई सीक्रेट लैब थी देखे क्या वेट मेरे को ब्राउजर खोलने में बड़ा डर लगता है तो मैंने ना चेक कर लेता हूँ कि नंबर ना दिख जाए लगता है यार एक बार ही ऑलमोस्ट दिखने वाला था बच गया था Where is Valorant Edition? ओए ये तो वो उसकी है Demon Slayer की ओ ब्रो कितने की है ब्रो 53,000 डैम ये हम लोगों भी थोड़ा पैरानॉइड हो तो इसकी कहाँ है वैलोरेंट वाले की एक मिनट चैट आई एम सो सॉरी बस थोड़ा वो है ओ खुली नहीं रही है What? Okay. What is this? Good actually. मैं दिखाता हूँ, ये देखो भाई, तुम कस्टमाइज कर सकते हो कि तुम्हें एक्चुअली कौन से मटेरियल में चाहिए।
FPX managed to bounce back, and we're going to a map 3. And let me tell you, after that first map, I genuinely thought that FPX would I was so concerned, but to see the way that they play that Lotus is a thing of beauty for sure.
It was incredible for them, but I feel like watching this game, I can't help but reminisce on that last Heretic series where they stomped the first game, they look incredible in their form, and then they start making some individual mistakes, and the game snowballs against a strong opponent. And
ये कौन सा US डॉलर ठीक है? कितना 4-3-4
So
हजार
many
का तो
questions
होगा ही।
here, right? Heretics decide to start on the defense, and
भाई
we
4
just
हजार का
wondered,
सिर्फ मैं खुद
why?
की लो भाई मैं यूज भी नहीं करता कहाँ पड़ा है मेरे को
One
खुद
of
नहीं
the worst
पता।
things that could happen
Actually
against
क्या
them
बोल
is
रहा
that
देखो पीछे
the
टेबल पे पड़ा
snowball
हुआ
that
है।
FPX
यूज
was
ही
getting
नहीं
was
करता अभी
only
कोई।
getting bigger because of
But
the
that
crowd.
design
Like,
was
everybody was
प्यारी है
going
यार।
crazy every single time that they got around. We saw the players like just enjoying everything, and it just kept going into their heads. So now that we're going into that third round, we're going to see the same thing that we saw against G2 the other day. Because, for example, if we take a look at this round, the pistol, when we went onto the second half, Heretics made a couple of questionable decisions here, and they ended up running out of time just because of a little bit of overcooking.
Yeah, I think they were trying to like fake into that B hit and then ended up canceling the play at the last second and trying to pivot back towards C and just running out of options. And again, it's
भाई
like
तो जितना काट रहा है उससे ज़्यादा तो मेरा shooting में लग जाएगा
these
भाई।
things start to happen and then it gets out of control. But for FPX, really playing a great game there. The mid-rounding on the attack side, I thought was on
मैं बोल
point.
मत
The
ले।
individual
अबे ले
performances,
थोड़ी रहा हूँ सिर्फ देख रहा हूँ
especially
भाई।
for life, were
अपन
all
देखने
incredible.
तक ही
And it was
सीमित है।
just this crowd
बाकी ये
fueling
20,000
them
की
the whole
है
way.
मेरे पास 300 प्यारे से चुम्बी ये चलेगी भाई मेरे को।
Such a crazy player. That
यार
he
ये
takes
भाई
8 first
अच्छी है।
bloods like that.
It is actually
But
kind
when
of
is he in
nice.
every map?
Feasting. He does.
He does it all the time. Like,
ये नहीं
sometimes
डिजाइन
it's
कितना
not
प्यारा
one
लग
in
रहा है
seven.
बट
Yeah,
You never know what you're gonna get.
like the duels he takes. But
Again, he's the angel of the CN region.
yeah, literally. But especially on the defense, we saw Heretics just like go in C time and time again, and he was there. Even in the last round, we just saw Rian going like, "I'm just gonna take him down. I'm just gonna take him down because what is going on here?"
Yeah, and I mean, and here's the other thing, though, right? You were talking about it before. You touched on it right as it came to us. The fans, the people are losing
वाली
their
कहाँ है? मैं जो
minds
अभी
when
ढूंढ रहा हूँ वो कहाँ
FPX
पर है?
even like breeds. Like anything that they do while they're out
VCT
there on
वाली आई
stage,
है ये सारी।
people are behind them 110%. And I think that just plays such a big pivotal role. It is genuinely the seventh man out in the field with them.
And they're showmen too. You see Life standing up after every clutch. He's
They
like
have really
pantomiming at
divided
his
like this.
opponents. He's throwing
I
up
really
hearts.
like
He's
it.
doing the like Hunter's Fury
That's
match in their
good.
last match. They're really playing to this crowd well, and I think it's giving the energy right back to them.
And going back to the momentum, now going into the third map. Yes, whatever happened on that sunset, let's try and forget.
Right,
The individual performance was definitely stellar. Now moving on to Icebox, where we know and can expect maybe some clove. It was going to be very, very.
That's right. I mean,
Did you forget?
I
for a
forgot
second?
that we're gonna get clove for sure. Oh my word! But yeah, I mean,
नहीं
even
करता भाई,
taking a
वो
look
भी
at the
पड़ा
stats
होगा।
too, right? Like just seeing
मेरे
really,
को बस
really struggling. to
proper
just get
पीछे flat हो
anything
ना तो
going,
ज़्यादा
just,
अच्छा
I think
लगता है, rather
really
than
stands out to
Yeah,
me.
I think he got some more like kills towards the second half to kind of
Sure.
recover a little bit, but the first half in particular, on a lot of those defensive rounds, it was just not, or excuse me, on their attacking rounds, he was getting shut down when he was trying to dive into these sites, and when those executes weren't quite working out. So, yeah, tough loss here for Team Heretics.
I think that they worked out with the space just too well, right? I think that they were, the executes, even if it was across the map, they were cutting so many people off guard and so much was happening at the same time that we can understand why they were undefeated in this map back in their region, back in CN. I mean, we see that it's brilliant. Now, do they have what it takes to make it to playoffs? Do they have what it takes to go? No, I mean, they've already made it all the way. Can they close it out here?
The question more so for me is, does Heretics have what it takes to recover? After losing a map like that, we heard it in the coach interview from Neil. His biggest concern was when this team starts losing, how they recover. It was exactly what went wrong in their series yesterday. They look completely unlike themselves on that map 3 of Split, making tons of individual mistakes. The micro comms were off. The team was getting rolled. And now they have to turn around from that happening to them, from the memory of that in their head, to now, when elimination is on the line, do the exact opposite and step up and play their best against a team that is in white-hot form.
You mentioned that interview too with Neil that we did earlier, and he said, we know how they want to play on Lotus. And I'm like, Do you? Like,
I mean, there's always a difference between knowing and not knowing. A coach is always going to say they have a game plan.
I know, but it was just funny in that particular instance because it was like, man, the way that they just got taken to town on Lotus, it was a thing of beauty. And now you're going into Icebox, and yeah, there's plenty of footage, but I just feel like at this point, there it is. You got the clove, Kukuka. Yeah. I just feel like all the momentum's on FPX's side. You can know the game plan. I think they're still going to do it.
Exactly, and the game plan is very simple. Life is going to be pushing. Surprise? None. Yeah. Exactly, and if it's not him, who's it going to be? Berlin. Things to be considered with these compositions. Yes, there is a lot of smokes, but there is no sentinel. Somebody needs to be taking care of mid, especially if Team Heretics wants to have a good attacking side. They need to be aware of area of the map and try and find the gaps. But they probably will find a FPX pushing onto them.
I think the most important answer for Team Heretics to find is dealing with the A pressure FPX will give. They're going to be throwing up tons of one-ways. Life is going to be holding proactively in that space. That's always a checkbox you have to fill in every round. Retaking the space in A main. So we'll have to see how they can get that done on this attacking side. FPX right now is one of only 2 Chinese teams left in this event, playing in front of their home crowd in Shanghai. They want to ensure that they can represent their region in playoffs and make their first ever playoffs at a global event.
This is it. Who's going to walk away? Who's going to go to the playoffs? Let's send it over to Paper Thin and Doug for the call.
Icebox the decider, the difference maker between heartbreak and joy, at least for a couple of days. This is where this ends between FPX and Heretics. As we mentioned, Paper Thin at the beginning of the cast, both teams that came into this with really high hopes. For some more than others, yeah, I think Heretics, people expected them to look really good. And so far they have. FPX has been the one who has surprised and have impressed. But now it ends here. Everything else has to be forgotten.
Exactly, Doug. It's a best of one now. Got to get it done here, or your Shanghai event is over. This could be it. Well, it will be it, for sure, no matter what. But I am really curious to see how FPX plays this defender side. This has been their weaker side of the map so far, especially with this Clove comp. They've been kind of a little bit off, in my opinion. They're a little bit too aggressive sometimes with the Clove. They kind of push out, Life plays like a duelist. I get it. It's in his nature. But a shift over towards B where it is just on Lysor. Good one way.
The feet give him away. Takes a step back, though. Lysor now feeling pressure, overwhelmed by all the targets. VCT, she's able to pen him through and drop him. Berlin will fall too. The site fully the way of Heretics here.
One smoke to work with. Just the ruse from Life.
And a triple controller comp to
say
that is just crazy.
Just one. Yeah.
And they have like 25 to play with at the beginning of the round. But alas, that is what they have at their disposal. The flash over the top is Life is going hunting because of course he is. Unbelievable shot.
पीछे से कोई आ सकता है
from Batata.
TS got the first round.
But Woot just kind of gets missed enough by it that he's able to swing and prevent Life from potentially taking that round away from Heretics. Wow, clean opener from Rienz.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Woot just, yep, there you go. He was able to just dodge that flash enough.
Life was going to have a field day.
Oh, it looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, he was going to feast.
I thought for sure. And then I'm pretty sure he had a pick-me-up as well. To get in and out of there.
Not going to lie to you, I really respect you for knowing all of the Clove utility names.
Thanks. I mean, their ult is my favorite. Right there. It's not dead yet. And because I'm a big Monty Python fan. So,
nice.
There you go.
Yep. For those of you youngsters that are listening to the broadcast, a quick Google will educate you on a lot.
Great movie. Great movie. It's a full stack. Towards A. Just Lysor to watch mid, and I think Heretics probably has a pretty good idea that, especially with Clove, you don't want to be messing with that site. Don't want to give any opportunities. That's where Life thrives. And a couple Bulldogs. Right here. Guardian, Phantom, and then just that Sheriff for Benji Fishy. And he's going to go exploring. See if he can find anybody. But look where they're hid. They're so cheeky here. He's just playing anti-flash the whole way.
30 seconds left.
You guys got it, right? I'm just gonna wait.
They're just saying, well, if they're gonna push this site, certainly there's gonna be a Patty Tech flash in here, so.
Somebody dies before I do, surely.
And if Life is the one who dies, you know, so what on the A site,
Yeah,
typically, if that's the way they're gonna push.
Yeah. Lysor falls. Heretics looking to get through this as cleanly as possible. If they can carry 4 rifles into the next round, maybe even buy up a Bulldog or something like that and have 5 rifles, that's an outrageously strong 3rd round.
It's all before from them.
Oh, they're going to have to deal with these exits. These exits that are being held. Berlin the first. Classic in hand. Trying to drop Wood and will not. So the other 2 members of FPX will die to the spike. Heretics will keep all of their weaponry.
And I mean, kind of obviously what you expect, but the extra guns carried over are very nice. And now we see what FPX can dial in. See if they can find some success. Again, this is the side of the map where this comp struggles typically. With all those smokes, it's definitely more of an attacker's idea where you're dissecting, you're cutting apart the map and using it to stagger your way forward. You're using it to obscure your movements. There's a lot that goes on with these heavy smoke comps that FPX runs. But it's a little bit tougher for them to accomplish those goals on this defender's side. A spot out already as Heretics already knows where Life wants to go, and they're like, no. Just get down from there. Get off your perch.
They've read him.
And they know he's in this corner.
85 health quickly disintegrated.
So now you have a real question here as Heretics. Do you pull off because of the clove smokes that they can use for the net? I think I do. I'd probably just say, you know what?
I do think FPX are ahead of it though, because look at their positioning. They're up mid and they're up B long. Berlin falls, unfortunately. They tried stopping them rotating away because I think you're right, and I would agree with you as well. If I know that Clove is dead A, I'm not going to play on that side of the map if I can help it.
I got the spike.
And they do a great job of identifying the positions that FPX is trying to use to keep track of Heretics' movement. The alarm bot's beautiful. Reads Lysor's
Spike planted.
lurk, and then the catch in mid is massive. Berlin goes down, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, it opens up the entire map for Heretics. That was FPX's win con. Given the current state of the map in that moment, that was the win con, cutting off the rotations.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they aren't able to do so. So Heretics look like they are going to be able to convert on this bonus. They are going to be able to carry all of these weapons into the next. The one thing they don't have, if we're going to be splitting hairs here, is that they don't have an ult online. Other than that, I mean, this is perfect.
It's everything you could want. They've been reading everything that FPX wants to do so well. Now, Ayong looking to see if anybody's going to come around that corner. Can't win the battle. Patty Tech's good for it. The bonus converted for Heretics. And they are in cruise control again. I mean, from a purely selfish perspective, Doug, I don't want to see another kind of one-sided map.
Yeah, me neither.
That being said, FPX is known for a bit of an ability to run it back on this map. They did it against Foot. So a rough start again for them on this defender side. You prefer to maybe see them shore up some of those defenses a little bit. But here so far, once again, credit to the coaching staff. Neil Zinyo doing a great job getting them prepared for this so far.
A lean towards A from Heretics into the stack of the defenses. Obviously, without them really having any idea of that, Life strikes from the position he so comfortably plays on, but this time he has ult he can use. Instantly dropped right back down. Not able to
500 subs का वर्क अभी बचा है पर तेरे नहीं 500 subs पे कुछ किया था मैंने actually remember
once again
500 subs पे तुमने
Berlin
मुझसे तो करवाया था I'm pretty sure बस करवा के ना तो रह नहीं सकते.
There's a lot of those high tides put out early, and Benji's just waiting for him, and then sniffing out the positioning that Berlin's taking, and shut him down a couple rounds in a row. So that mid-control battle, oh so crucial for the way that FPX wants to control this map if they can't kind of just bully you. And a
You know
really
that's
quick
right.
lockdown here from Benji Fishy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. A little early.
Bot coming back.
But Lysor's there on the challenge. And he's not going to be around for much longer. He dies, pays for it. Now FPX with 2 left.
मैंने
Automatic.
किया ही नहीं था साले ट्वर्क की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं मैंने कुछ तो और किया था ट्वर्क के लिए मैंने मना
Spotted by the drone, at least Autumn has.
I'm pretty मैंने कुछ और
The
किया था
utility is going to give the other away. But they have to try to get back here. They have to try to disrupt what's happening back yellow.
One enemy remaining.
Wingman doesn't even get it to half. It's a massive response from FPX, but they're not going to be able to get the defuse. They got the kills, but at what cost?
मेरे को लगा बच्चे ने कर दिया
It's really interesting that Heretics go for that early lockdown, and Benji Fishy is pushing off the back of it. Something you kind of got to expect as an opponent, but he's still able to get the better of you. And yeah, okay, you get the ult, but not much you can do off the back of the not dead yet. And, I mean, right now, FPX is once again trying to find some kind of footing on their defender side of Icebox. It's going to be a timeout to try to figure this out and try to keep their tournament hopes alive. Confidence had to be sky high after that Lotus. Had to feel like $1 million.
And they came crashing down real fast.
Yep. It's been a series of highs and lows.
I think honestly for both these teams here, the question is how do you ride it out long enough to be sitting up top of the game? Right? If it is going to be a bunch of highs and lows on both sides, how do you weather that? How do you ride it long enough to where you're sitting on top at the end?
You know, one thing I'm concerned about is that you have to worry about having to use 2 timeouts early. You know what I mean? Like we saw Sunset. This is my concern. Is things are going so one-sided that if it continues that way, what's going to happen? I don't know. Wolves went away from a Blade Storm. I don't know who's going to need it. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Back into the action we go. A little bit of that controller utility instantly used and Wood dropped. Catching a timing. Be long.
So you can see the change up here is to just be aggressive at these weakened kind of flanks that Team Heretics was trying to hold. And a lot of attention early in the round was pulled towards the front of A because of Life's typical positioning. And they realized that there was only usually 1 or 2. Patty Tech, though, able to clean up Autumn.
He's so far up. And FPX are not really in a position to fight for this retake. They don't have much. But Lysor repositioning with his ult. Getting back towards spawn. Previously divided, now reunited. And attempting to find some space off of the harbor wall. They will venture forth. The Paranoia intended to help as well as best as it can. But the utility delay is so good. And Rian's a slip. All the way in the corner, so he's dropped. Berlin on the swing, he falls. All onto life now. A 1v3, time is of the essence. And he does not have any of it. Heretics full steam ahead.
Great understanding of the map here by Heretics. Heavy numbers shifted over to the other side of the map this time. A lot of space given up on A, and they quickly take advantage of it. The alarm bot there to check for Light's lurk. All of their homework done. They've completed it. They can go to bed early, or they can stay up and play video games if they want. Right now, they are in cruise control. Just
they make it look effortless right now.
They do. Now you're back onto an eco. For the side of FPX, a Marshall and 4 Sheriffs. And again, it's the same start here for FPX. 2-2, and then just leaving Autumn all on his lonesome on A.
Pressure spotted and received. There should be enough there to understand that A should be pretty open and easy for the taking. Woot's already dashed back sight.
Benji took a ton of damage though, took a headshot. So that flank control could be tricky, especially with 3 players coming that way.
His utility really feels like a big one there. He's got to stay alive for Autumn with the Woot with the flash in his face, able to get the first and somehow gets the second when he shouldn't have really gotten any of it. But FPX punching back. A 3v3, weapon upgraded onto the Omen. The spike has been going on for so long, and Heretics are positioning this so well. They were glad to give up the space, but they're going to have to deal with a bit of the utility. Berlin's gotten it to half. They have to check it 3/4 of the way. 80%. Finally, on the other side of the smoke. 20 HP. The spam not connecting. Pad attack plays it beautifully. There is not enough. He's going to get the kill, but is he going to get to the fuse? Holy smokes, he did! Oh, I thought it was over. But the MasterCard Thrifty for FPX to get on the board.
Finally!
हाँ VCT से FPS कम होता है भाई साले को क्या हरामी वो कर दी jinx कर दिया 13-0 बोला इधर एक राउंड आ गया
but they don't fully account for it, and on his way out Benji Fishy takes the headshot, so he's not able to get that first kill on the backside cleanly. That opens up the angles for the Sheriffs to start doing some damage on the backside. The gun upgrades, the pick-me-up for life to get the overheal, and he comes in swinging, opens up enough space. Okay, here's the blades.
He did need them.
I'm glad.
The timing on the flashes have been really nice.
Yeah, Autumn's really on point.
So uptrap the Wu will not be able to use anymore. Now he's got a goop in his face.
It's not fun.
And he's been
मत बोल साले मत बोल
They've been forced, they've been bullied away from B.
With all that utility you've seen over there, you know that at worst it's 2 over on A, so you can try to punish this. It's been a real overstack towards the B side. And FPX, I think, starting to realize that maybe they can play a little bit more for retakes. It worked in the previous round.
Well, and they have the tools for it here. Exactly. Adam is playing really far up though. Further up than I expected. But he's able to punish.
Supported who DS का साले हाँ तो फिर तेरी तो पहले चमन लग रही है.
A little friendly fire not connecting, but that's it. The pin's down. Benji Fishy in a 1v5 gets it down.
No
Trying to res. The timing window has been given. Pad attack back online. Benji falls. Pad attack has to do it on his own. A second lease at life. Can he capitalize on the opportunity? No.
देख ले अवले 13-5 मत देख लो ये बाबू.
The fact that Autumn goes unaccounted for here is massive. He's so sneaky. And gets that open. I mean, this opening kill is just...
That's unlucky.
Yep.
It's unlucky.
Yep.
But honestly, I love the way Autumn played this. They knew that there was a ton of presence B.
Yep.
Right? They knew that FPX had a lot of presence B. The knife tagged Autumn.
Yep.
And it could have been anywhere on A, but if you're the solo player tagging, holding A, and, you get on the knife, and you know that there's a reckoning on the other side, or more of this retake utility, you're not going to play on the site.
No.
You're going to give it up. You're going to walk away.
Right.
And Autumn just decides to call them on their bluff. And he punishes them for it. That was a great, great play.
And even beyond that, the way he plays it after he gets that first kill, where he immediately backs off. A lot of players are going to stick around and go for the spray down to go for the big 2K or something like that. Yeah, that's what I would do.
And
he doesn't. He backs out, and then the Viper's pick comes through, and he's just an extra player to cause confusion for Boo. And Boo ends up falling to it because Life is fearless and just walks in there and takes him out because you have a little bit of info. And who knows, maybe it got spotted on the mini-map when Autumn was in there. Now they have all their ults. Every single one here for FPX to work with. And they are going to change up their default just a little bit, back to kind of more the normal with Life over on A. I think he's going to go on the rope, and I think he's going
to do a Life thing.
Yep. Oh, he went up to pipes. Okay. Maybe go for Nest this time, but this is the more typical. But
they rotated off of that so quickly.
Yeah, that's really fast.
And again, they have a lot of retake utility. So it makes sense. I mean, I get it. They've got the Reckoning. They have Autumn's ult.
They've set up 2 players right at this.
That was loud.
That was really loud.
That was very, very loud. Life will fall. Picks right back up. But Wu punishing with 2. How much more can they get here? Life has to get a fight here. He's got to get either an assist or a kill if he wants to come back. 20 HP is even going to get the shot to do it. No.
And this is one of those rounds where FPX gets aggressive behind the high tide. We haven't seen it yet, where they've gotten this aggressive. And Team Heretics guesses correctly and waits it out. They have a full stack watching for that push. They were well aware They probably had seen this in a round before, where when Life has his ult, has the Clove ult, that they might try a mid push off the back of that high tide. I mean, they're doing that basically every round.
They're conditioning behind it for sure. Honestly, that's a situation in which you would expect Life to get up pipes, to fight up 410.
Yep.
Because he's got his ult, but it was a mid crunch, and you're right, Heretics were wise to it. Lights are literally catching a stray. And Autumn left to his devices.
Now, probably gonna go for it. Try to do some damage, but Benji's got it red. Benji should be able to take it down, but Autumn actually wins that.
You were
Great
saying?
peek. I thought Benji had him dead to rights. Autumn was expecting that angle. Autumn's so clean.
He does not seem interested in playing for the spike at all. Any kills that he can find are icing on the cake.
He's one of the few that plays a little more cautious in situations where you feel like maybe a save is a...
This might be a good idea.
Yeah. It's one of the funniest things going back and watching FPX VODs was just how little they saved. They don't care.
Just not in the playbook, man.
No, man. Just go for it. I mean, it catches teams off guard. Saw it against Foot. Saw it against Gen G. So good from Wu. Clean angles. Great snake bite from Boo. Right at the exit of that tube. Okay, well, you know, FPX got one earlier through those smokes. Now it's Team Heretic's turn. It's all square.
Giving it right back.
Yep.
Early knife, early presence mid.
Oh, that's going to get so much info.
Oh, it got cleared.
Oh, it got cleared. That's big. Now what do you do as Heretics? Do you try to push, try to plant? Or do you try to hold to the other side? Yeah. FPX being really tricky to read right now.
Heretics are fully on the side here. Boo's watching the flank. Benji Fishy has his ult. But they might not give him enough comfort. They might not give him enough space to invest it. The Thrash used. Woot will go undetected.
Oh my.
You've got to be careful here because they've dropped the Reckoning as well. They've got him corralled all the way back. Woot is the only one who's been separated. Torn asunder. Gets his kill. Ooh.
Spike down A.
What a mess of a round.
Good.
But through all of that, on
Autumn है ये मार देगा भाई. इसको last में मत रखो.
Down.
Heretics will have to go back and scoop it up. They're taking the scenic route.
It's in an uncomfortable spot.
Yeah, and I don't think Autumn realizes that it's down.
That's smart. That knife really smart to check that corner where you can see the spike from. Really well aware there from Pat Attack.
Yeah, Autumn thinks they've already grabbed the spike in their head.
That's fine.
So Heretics should be able to get out onto the spike, or onto the site, excuse me, get the spike down, settle into post plants quite nicely. Autumn's gonna have to take a long walk of shame to the other side of the map. And then try to make a play. He has a knife online, only bit of utility to his name.
It's gonna have to get it done with the guns. Nope, not gonna happen. Pat Attack reads it.
I mean, he didn't even get a chance to shoot. Pat Attack was just so sharp on it.
Insane. 7-2 now for Heretics. After a couple rounds where it looked like FPX might be able to start stringing together a run of their own on this map. Root just reads Berlin coming. I mean, it's all part of this chaos that FPX is trying to create, trying to come at you from every angle possible, and somehow Team Heretics handles it.
Well, it was in the chaos that they were able to punish FPX.
Exactly.
They don't just handle it, they capitalize on it. They use it to their advantage.
Very few teams who can handle that level of scrappiness that FPX brings. Because they're happy to do that. They're happy to drag you down in the mud with them. That's what they want. And huge props to Heretics for being able to handle that. I thought that had FPX written all over it.
Yeah, that looked like disaster. Life tagged early. More of a lean towards A this time. One rifle in the hands of Autumn.
Just expecting that repeat from Life, but
7, 13, 4 है 13, 5 तक तो होगा. तो बनाती है देखते बोल रहा है.
Positioning on the minimap right now, expecting the flank, which is how FPX have been wanting to play it, and oftentimes when you see a lockdown used around this area of the map, they're not all going to be approaching from spawn. So he's a step ahead of this here. The Dizzy cleared, he tucks behind, Lysor's dead, Boo capitalizes on his positioning, and it's a flawless
Nice round
for Heretics.
I am so impressed right now with Team Heretics. I'm fairly certain somebody on Gen G did the exact same thing, where they hung out and spawned like that. Or maybe it was Foot. Might have been Foot. But anyway,
it's been very impressive.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but I mean, just the way that teams are able to kind of read the tendencies of FPX, starting to catch up with them a little bit. As unpredictable as they can look sometimes, there is quite a bit of method to their madness. And is this going to be what I was worried about, Doug? Is this the early second timeout? The same red flag that came up on Sunset.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, you have to. I get it, but you have to.
Yeah, you need those 2 rounds. You need
these coaches की वो क्या होती होगी?
Can't have a repeat of Sunset.
Rank क्या होती होगी भाई वैलो में? मेरा हमेशा से doubt है.
And you know, we've talked about it all series. Their attack side of FPX is often what nets them success.
Yes.
Right? They play a slightly different style of Valorant than what we normally see here. So for them to just get up to 4, just to stay within striking reach and then go into the attacking half paints a much better picture.
Yes, because it was the same scoreline against Foot. If you can win these next 2 for FPX, if you can make it 4-8, then it's the same. And then even then, they lost the pistol in the follow-up to Foot, and then they ran 9 rounds in a row. I mean, just absolutely insane that they were able to do that. So this is feeling like maybe the most crucial round that we are going to have on this map in this series.
Gotta convert.
Right here.
No other way to spin it.
And nobody on A for FPX. They leave it completely abandoned.
Finally,
sliding that way a little bit.
I don't know, like there was coach, so obviously मैं कुछ तो बात होगी उनमें.
Rotations as Wood falls, not able to get any space.
या सिर्फ वो उनको manage करते
The attack has been blunted.
मेरे को जानना है सच्ची.
I'm a bit surprised that they're willing to challenge that as Team Heretics. Okay, that's why.
Yeah,
that works.
Talk about swinging things back their way. That's a brutal second step to this round. Think about it. You get Woot out of the picture.
Right.
Right? You have full control.
And you take Clove out.
Just like that.
And then you can rotate off of the death of Clove to the other side. Don't have to worry about those smokes.
It's just going to be Berlin's utility now to control things, and he's still playing back B. That knife should call for Autumn to come back, to send rotations back A. But
Doug is literally waving his arms, folks.
They've got to get back here.
I agree.
13 seconds left, and Autumn's ahead of it.
Nice.
He doesn't wait for his teammates. So now it's a 2v4. Patatek has his ult online. Rien's is weak, sure, but FPX have no choice. I know that homework shows that they don't like to save, but
got to go for this one. You have to.
Gonna try.
Yeah. Good luck.
Patatek with 3 on the round. Ion gets his. The spam through. The shot connect Rien's. Heretics gets up to 9. And this has all of the makings, all of the hints of a stop. Unfortunately, just kind of flies out the window there.
And it's kind of back to what we saw early on for Heretics, where attack one side, okay? If life is there, you kill life or not. If you do, great. Go to the other side. If you don't, great. Go to the other side.
Yeah.
It worked pretty well. I mean, there's more to it than that, but
on
on the surface, that's part of the equation for sure. Now, you do have the ult for Patatek to clear this space, and FPX gonna have to play full retake. I mean, I say that, and who knows, maybe somebody tries the challenge, but I don't think they will, based on what I'm seeing on the map. And now you have to worry about Benji Fish in this late lurk position, right outside of 2. And Lysor's a mile away. He has his ult, though, and there he goes.
Benji is going to hit a ridiculous timing, potentially, to close this thing out. They're so far up, they're so committed. Berlin and Ayong are able to hold the line though. And now
Agent
Lysar
unlock करने
seemingly
के लिए
aware
मुझे
of what's
fast
potentially
switch
waiting on the other side. Boots ahead of this though. He's tucked into smoke and they're gonna check him. The first one falls.
My ult's ready.
Life doesn't have an ult to play around here. Oh, spam coming through as he gets another. But Benji Fishy on the flank. Rians just has to buy time. He just has to stay alive. He has to be a nuisance, a distraction. Only able to get one, and I don't know that Benji Fishy's been able to get enough space, though. Now the thrash in his face. Oh, it's too nano missed. The spams will not connect, but the spike will go off. The Red Bull clutch for Heretics and heartbreak for FPX once more.
Switching sides.
It just took too long. The retake ended up being pretty good. They're able to find some good flashes on the way in and set up Berlin and Ayong. And Ayong immediately swinging out to the other side, clearing players so well. And even with the nano going too far, time had been bought. Insane.
Rians was a legend in that round. Him playing back jail, the shocks tucking, just realizing he cannot take the fight. He has to stay alive, does his job perfectly. Now we're gonna see if the analyst desk can do their job perfectly as they break down that half. GB, take it away.
Thank you so much, Doug. I shall now do my job. Man, I mean, 10-2, and it happens with some heroics at the end. I don't even think they were expecting that round to come through. You could tell Benji was just so excited. Absolute heartbreaker for FPX, Mimi.
Yeah, absolutely. Every one of their aggressive pieces that normally get them a lot of success on this map, like that forward A control with the Clove, was just being shut down. I think Team Heretics had a great game plan coming into this one, and this round 8 was such a massive example of it. They always condition this mid control, and the second they go for the forward play.
Exactly. Berlin was using almost the same utility time after time, and Team Heretics was doing a brilliant job just being patient. This happened since round 1. You know, the conditioning was there, but they had the good response, the right response on how to deal with it. Sometimes giving the space, even sending Benji on the flanks. I'm actually surprised with all the different set strats that they had to deal with the same issue that FPX was presenting. And time again, FPX could not get that retake.
And now this puts FPX in a really tough position. Only
Very
2
tough.
rounds picked up in front of a home crowd as one of only 2 Chinese teams left in this tournament. They are facing elimination. But for Team Heretics, if they can win 3 rounds and close this out, it would be massive. The first ever international playoffs for these boys after a close attempt at Madrid, going out into it that tournament. They could make it here and have a fighting chance in the playoffs.
2 rounds, well, excuse me, 3 rounds is all Heretics needs. Now I'm going to send it back over to Doug and Paper Thin. Do your jobs.
Perfectly well done to all 3 of you. World-class talent. Heretics up 8 rounds, sniffing distance of sending FPX out of the tournament, of qualifying to playoffs. Something that has eluded them in the past, but now on the precipice of doing something special. And as you mentioned it, Paper Thin, it's not just for them, it's not just for their team, it's for the region too.
No doubt. It's such a bounce back if they can close this map out, you know, versus what happened in Madrid for their region. Be able to bring, and who knows, maybe Foot gets through too after this. I mean, then you're bringing 2 EMEA teams out of this Swiss stage. What a return to form that would be for their region. Still, gotta win at least 3 more. And that proved too difficult for Foot to do on this side. But it was a very different scoreline, a very different first half. And here, for Heretics, being patient, it's gonna be now rotating over his re-ends in the general direction. Gonna let go with the recon dart. First check with the knife. Dart was towards mid. Potentially set up Benji Fishy. Benji Fishy has a great flank angle for himself, potentially.
Discipline is the name of the game for Heretics here. 1000%. You cannot overcommit. You cannot over-rotate. If you have to give up a site, so be it. You play as bunches and fight with the retake together. Meanwhile, FPX are trying to scale all the way back to Snowman. They've already lost 1 member. Cross back. They don't like what they're feeling. They've left Autumn to his devices, now forced to cross back over 1 more time without anything to cover. Life from up top. Finally lands a shot, drops onto Boo. Goomba stomps him. Life with 3. Benji Fishy, you mentioned he was on the flank. He cannot settle the shots. The 4th for Life in the round for FPX.
How does he find this space? Well, it's because they have a lot of controllers. It's because they have a lot of smokes to work with. And he's able to slip past the defenses using his own ruse to bamboozle Team Heretics. Nobody able to identify it in the comms that he had dropped down below him. Nobody even turned at him. That's how unaware they were.
I mean, Boo never had a shot.
No, he was dead.
Yeah. So FPX get their third. Reason for excitement. Not much yet, but some reason for excitement.
As must-win pistols go.
Yeah.
That was one of them. Now you got a couple Guardians. For Autumn. Woot with a Sheriff. Ooh, takes a lick of damage himself. Trying to get out of there. Just a Dizzy to clear that angle. The rest of Heretics now falling back. Trying to lure FPX in. So far, it looks like they've been able to do it. They could do some damage here, Doug. This is close quarters combat.
That's where it gets messy. The pistol often the harbinger of chaos. And that's exactly what they're leaning into here. 4 members on the site, one just a little bit far off, but they crumble. Rians and Patatek not really able to put up much of a fight at all. Woot meets a similar fate as they all fall. 5 alive as FPX thrive.
Yeah, it's so hard.
And he is. And it's true.
He is. It is very true. I fully agree. Benji Fishy is very good. Very, very good. This round didn't go so good for Heretics, but that's okay. It's flawless. That's not ideal. I like the way that you have Autumn and Ion pushing together with the making it's very textbook. Nothing too fancy there.
Did I ever tell you the story about how FPX was facing tournament elimination on home soil and they were down 10-2 at half and then they win the bonus and they shock the world? And did I ever tell you that story?
You did not.
No?
No. Maybe we can talk about it after.
Maybe. It's a cheeky smoke Patatek is playing in. He's got a flash too. He can right click and just drop out of it, but instead, with a molly in hand, thinks twice about it.
To play anti-cascade, I think.
He just waited for the smoke to go down. Yeah, forget about using utility.
It's to play anti-cascade. That cascade usually coming right up at the end of screens, and he can look on the other side of it.
Spam through the util. Patatek falls. Really opportunistic swing there from Life. Life are again in a really good position. They can take a step back here. They might be able to pull this thing off.
Ooh.
Ion Thrash instantly cleared, but they've gotten the spike down. A 2v3 here. There's still the molly that they can play around. That's going to buy some time. Benji Fishy not able to really get it anywhere. No other util to speak of. They're going to have to check with their bodies. Rians has gotten it to half 3/4 of the way. It's not playing. He's got to stop him, but the defuse. Oh, the red switch comes through, but the defuse goes away with Heretics. That was so close.
It's heartbreaking, Doug. They played it so well. It was just a step too late.
And it was a step too far over on the plane.
Yeah,
like you think about it, a step to the right.
Yep.
That's all it takes. But as Rians has to go just a little bit further.
Unbelievable. I thought they had it. I thought they had just bought enough time with the fragment when those Guardian shots started hitting. Now an Outlaw invested. Team Heretics on a weaker buy. Ion ripping a head off of Benji Fishy is trying to make an aggressive push towards mid. It's all just for that first kill potentially. Saw Wood's feet and just takes him down.
He tried catching a good timing on a swing and well, it just did not work out.
Ion's feeling it right now. This second half, he's been putting up some big kills.
Honestly, though, as much as the defuse came through and that was heartbreak and, you know, all of that stuff, the truth is it's probably best case scenario for FPX, the way things played out. Because Heretics are forced back on a pistol buy.
Yeah. It still gives you a little bit of, not to make a pun, but life. It gives you a little bit of hope
Dude, we went 3 maps.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
You're right. Obviously, they'd rather take the round, right? They'd rather be at 5-10 right now. But
For sure.
I मैं साइकिल लेके आता हूँ 20 मिनट में. Okay.
they haven't cleared back yellow. Finally, they do. Blue falls. They had the plans, they had the protocols, and now they have the progress.
Spike planted.
2 pistols up for the side of Heretics. Both really far away. At this point, you're just trying to get away with whatever you can.
Yep. Any economic damage you can do is fine.
But instead, they tuck tail, and they try to run away.
Play to die to the spike. No guns to pick up. Is everybody on FPX still alive?
Enemy remaining.
Here.
Or die to Lysor, I guess.
But it's these hits from FPX that are so tricky to deal with because it's so hard to know exactly what's going on and who's going to be where. And Baby Bay was talking about this a lot when you guys were casting this map the previous time against Foot. The way they use those smokes on top of yellow to get a player up there, to get Lysor up there. And this time it has a ton of value again, removing Boo from the equation immediately on that execute. And that's something that's really tricky to play against with this comp. I think you're going to have to find a way to adjust on that. It's
Steam चालू
you have
रख
to have
के
an extra player
चला.
there to
Okay,
protect
so
Boo if he's going to stay back yellow, or have a player like a Jet who can get out quickly if need be.
A little bit of mobility in the utility. Not just left there like a sitting duck. Into the 17th we go. Heretics still within sniffing distance, but FPX putting up enough resistance to give Heretics cause for concern.
And there's so many smokes across the map right now that it's so hard to know what the heck's going on as Heretics. You have some idea that there's people outside of B, but you don't know exactly what it looks like. There's a smoke in mid. You don't know what's going on there.
Right.
You have no information on A because everybody's on the ramp outside of it.
Yeah.
So you're just playing, I mean, and I don't blame them. Play retake. Find a good angle for this Hunter's Fury. But Life has his ult.
Which rabbit is the hat in? That's not how that saying goes. I think I got that backwards.
You beefed your analogy.
Yeah. Unlucky. FPX decide to rotate A. Berlin with the Outlaw, as you mentioned, Life with his ult. Starting to see some of the smoke come through. Rien's with his ult. There it is, popped. They're trying to flush. Any sort of defenses from backside.
Left.
Hangs on to the third. Finally fires off. Wu has gone unchecked. He's repositioned again.
Nice.
Finally dropping
Chalo, plan रुक गया.
Berlin. Benji Fishy trying on the space behind him, but FPX fight back. Not crumbling under the pressure, not folding behind what Heretics throw at them.
10 seconds left.
I don't know if they have a knife on our hands. I think Boo will stop that.
Enemy remaining.
Spotted, tagged, dropped. FPX get another.
Surely this can't happen again, Doug.
Not yet, not yet.
Lightning cannot strike twice. I was told in the same place. But FPX seemingly trying to strike again on Icebox.
The storm is brewing.
Enemy remaining.
It's just so hard to read them, but the Hunter's Fury doesn't find any value. And it makes it pretty tough because FPX is so well coordinated on these A hits. It's so impressive the way that everybody knows their job. Everybody knows what angles they need to be covering, who needs to be looking where. Their instincts are phenomenal. And Team Heretics can never get that retake going the way they want to. Life hangs on to his ult. Still have that to consider.
And Heretics back on a pistol buy. Oh, there's a lot behind this.
He took a lot of damage in that exchange.
That's a dangerous game he was playing.
Ion down to 62, Berlin down to 41. That's 2 players at 1 body tap with the Sheriff.
I will say this though, for FPX, we saw on the player cams at the end of the previous round, you know, you think back to how the series has gone and how Life was going crazy and hearts up to the crowd and, you know, talking trash across the stage, all that good stuff. But now in this position that they're in, you can feel the gravitas just a bit more. He was silent, in seat, just fist bumps to his team, no reaction, no pop-off, nothing like that.
They're focused.
They're business. It's all business.
I love it.
But can they pull off the impossible? Can they pull off the incredible?
Exactly.
ये हो रहा है भयंकर.
A tight angle by Team Heretics.
Oh, this high-low is miserable, bro. There's no way, yeah. Life has his ult, though. Repositions and goes to fight once more. Not able to connect on the Koreans gets 2. Woo with the third. They know he's there. He's spammed finally. As Ion snaps.
Not ready yet.
10 seconds
Lysor has 10 seconds left. He's got to get the spike down. He's trying to provide himself a little bit of cover. But time is of the essence. Spike down. Now what? On the swing. Tucked in the clove smoke. And trying to find a little bit of room to breathe.
He's been so good in these moments, Doug.
But can he deliver again? When the pressure is at its fever pitch. He slows things down. Just a pause. Just a break. And now, an exploratory swing. A peek. As best as he can. There it is. The tap is first. The bait was there. He's got to be careful here. Who can hold this? Who can hold this? He stops to defuse. Manages to TP and get away.
He's got it.
There's not enough time.
यार भाई ढक दिया वो जेटा का.
The Red Bull clutch in FPX.
तो मार देता है इसको पर जेटा ढक दिया.
Yet another brilliant clutch from Lysor. This guy, I don't know the exact number, but the Red Bull clutches are through the roof for him this event. And Ayong again comes up with a massive 3K to keep FPX in this. Almost Team Heretics getting a thrifty. And if that had gone Heretics' way, you had to start feeling like that was the nail in the coffin dagger. But it ain't closed yet. That coffin ain't closed yet.
Heretics call a timeout here. Last one for either side.
ये इनका लास्ट वाली होगा अगर ये राउंड भी होगा ना तो फिर चीजें हो जाएंगी.
It's been so wild. I mean, this is what makes watching this FPX team, this event, so darn good.
I mean, this is what Valorant's all about. Exactly. This is what international Valorant is all about.
Exactly, Doug. I couldn't have asked for a better final map here. It looked like it was curtains. But not yet. Not yet, says FPX. The crowd trying to will FPX to victory in Shanghai. They want 2 teams going to those playoffs. They want some company for EDG. Let's see if FPX still has it in them.
There's still enough. There's still enough of a lead, though, for Heretics.
Oh, nice one.
And that will certainly help. What a shot.
The confidence to push up onto belts like that. Take that fight.
It's just Woot being Woot, man.
And they haven't shown that look yet. That's the first time they've got real aggressive on A like that. And it catches FPX off guard.
You've got to be really careful here, too, if you're FPX, because being down in numbers, attempting to put together a comeback, oftentimes you'll force a play. I've got to equalize it. I've got to get it back to 4s. And that can be where you get punished. But patience and discipline. I love this wall, too.
It's beautiful. The horseshoe cuts off so many angles, gives you so much safety. And you have extra layers to it. Life smoke as well.
And Paranoia tagged onto 1. Life in the smoke. The snap on Rians will not connect. Is this where the retake attempt falls apart? Is this where it crumbles? Numbers so heavily the way of Heretics. A 5v3.
Uh-huh.
Slowly creeping back, though. Still, Heretics with control. Heretics with the numbers advantage. As the orb goes up, he's playing really tight on this, but the Molly's going to keep him back. He's going to try to TP him.
Oh my god!
He's got a really good position on this. 2v2. Lysor in a position to be the hero, but it comes down to 1, and Ion hits the shot.
नहीं भाई ये पता नहीं 2v2 सिचुएशन में हग ही देते हैं हर बार.
The position was everything.
The timing. He did it to Gen G on Ascent, and he does it here again. Oh my god. I mean, they're just so smart. They're just so smart, Doug. Their Omen TP timings, it was Berlin on Ascent, but this time it's Lysor. Their TP timings in these post plants are the best I have seen. There's nobody who does it better. Now they're going to TP up on top of 2. And the spot comes through. Oh my word, Rienz.
Lysor was in that exact spot in the previous round. This time punished for it. That's big for Heretics, but they still have a lot to solve. 1 Guardian and 4 pistols.
It's incredible. Incredible, these clutches. FPX just has no give up in them. Now a drone to check. Clearing that site. You are going to see the harbor. Decent indicator there that that's going to be the site. A lot of FPX's executes are on the back of this harbor util, but you have the Reckoning to consider. They might try to get ahead of it. They're playing a little bit aggressive.
I mean, do they invest it here in the pistols?
You might have to. Already a player down. You have the pit to worry about.
It's such a tough decision. Rienz drops and their numbers equalized. Things slow down to a halt. The flash is just perfect. The flash is beautiful. Oh, Boo and Benji Fishy forced to try to find a way to capitalize on the early advantage they had at the beginning of the round. Ayong on the plant, now Thrash online. But it's gonna have to wait until the next round. Can Los Niños do it? Down in numbers, down in guns. Boo with the Guardian in hand. Life gonna spot the head, and that was the major threat, but maybe it was Benji Fishy all along with the Sheriff, but no. FPX gets a 9, now down to 2. That's all it is separating these 2 squads.
The persistence so good from FPX. And Autumn's flash sets this back sight hit up so nicely. That's beautiful. Right up over Life. So he doesn't get caught by most of it. Yeah, Benji Fishy gets a few, but now Life is starting to pop off a little bit more. Now he is starting to feel it. And the Fun plus Phoenix has a Thrash, a Reckoning. There's a lockdown though for Benji Fishy. Some contention at the front of this. A lot of blinds are gonna force both teams away. The Reckoning used here early, clear some space, and Woot, playing with fire.
Almost gets a kill though. Almost rewarded for the fire. Now the Thrash. Everything in the kitchen sink to being thrown into this round. Stuck. FPX realizing they have to capitalize. Life got his ult off of that kill, so now can rejoin the fray once more. Pad attack falls. 3 on the side of the defense. And again, they're separated. They're trying to scale it. They're trying to scale out.
No, back out.
They're trying to take the fight.
Nice.
Life falls too. He had to force it. And now Benji Fishy has an ult of his own.
Oh my gosh.
Rienz using the Hunter's Fury. Oh, get a tag on the
Oh!
wall. Connect
Run.
10! 4 on the round for the Sova.
Thrash isn't done with you.
This is the big one. It stopped the defuse. The second is Rienz goes up. That's the ace. But can he commit? Can he convert? No!
नहीं भाई एंटी
Rienz
थे
get to 10. Do you believe?
भाई पर वो उसने जो उछल के जो मारा ना that was sick bro.
So aware of that
So sick.
lockdown, trying to get ahead of it. Trying to shut it down preemptively. But Team Heretics has a read on it. They're expecting the push out. All of a sudden you think Team Heretics has a chance. But the post plant's so good. The fish.
मेरे को लगा कि at least ये round तो आ ही
The
जाएगा.
Hunter's Fury, beautiful, and you think, oh no!
टिश्यू देखो तुम टिश्यू
Now he's out of his
देखो.
chair, Doug.
And they're back on pistols. I mean, yeah, they have a Bucky and a couple of Guardians, but not the buy you want here.
They're turning up the pace. They want to get to 11.
Meanwhile, Heretics try to stare down what seems like the face of destiny from FPX.
It's just so quick. Autumn has that null command if he needs it. Good snake bite. Doesn't delay the plant though.
Rian's falling. That was one of the rifles.
He's gonna be scooped up. Oh, hot him.
He does it again.
One enemy remaining.
I thought the Bucky was gonna connect there. But lo and behold, the comeback is not fake. We're tied at 11.
It's happening. The storm is in full effect, Doug. The lightning, I can see it in the distance, and I feel like it might strike twice here in Shanghai. How can they be this good on this side of the map again? How can they run it back like this again? Under this much pressure, in this moment, in this situation, with their tournament lives on the line.
Woot going aggressive here. Snaps onto the Dizzy, the knife out too. All of the utility in his face.
Ooh.
Somehow goes with a little bit of damage, but stays alive. I mean, that was a knife, that was a Dizzy, that was a wingman, that was a flash, that was everything.
Got the no command.
Ion has his ult online again.
Yeah, he does. He's destroying.
Oh! Lysol reads him like a book! Got ahead of it! Berlin gets another!
They know. Now they know.
Do they?
Spike planted.
Now they do, yeah.
Out of charge. Powerless.
There it goes. They saved the no command for post plant to prevent any utility coming through, to keep Rian and Patatek, keeping them uncomfortable to get set up.
3 playing back yellow. Patatek with the molly, spotting a little bit more skin. A triple face, it's way too much! Rian cannot capitalize on it. Benji Fishy, they're weak. They're so weak. But so is he. Got it down to 1. 14 HP for Leaf.
Oh my god.
The spike planted. The classic not connecting. The tap on the defuse, lights on the switch. And FPX gets a series point.
You have got to be kidding
ये हर बार लास्ट तक बचता है भाई, हर बार क्लच कर रहा है भाई.
I asked it once and I'll ask it
Yes
again.
भाई, you deserve a lose भाई. भाई क्या ठगा है भाई.
You better believe now. They are doing such a good job on these executes.
अगर ओटी होप से चाहता है मे भी कमबैक हो जाए, बट अभी तो भाई.
Pushing the tempo. He's playing with the crowd. He's calling his shot. One more to go, or will it be overtime, Doug? It is incredible. It is so loud in here. And it is going to blow the roof off this place. If FPX can close it out here, Blade Storm for Woot, the Guardian for Boo. So not quite able to get a full buy going. Our Heretics. It's a lot of riflery. Boo just going fishing off the back of this high tide. A little bit of a lurk from life, and he's got Benji.
FPX have done it once on this stage. Can they do it again? The stakes infinitely greater this time around. History, 4 kills away.
Comes the cascade and the flash. He executes on.
He's trying to peek ahead of this. This is bold, this is risky, this is dangerous. But he waits, trying to get a little bit of a tag with the dart. Woot tries to get up high, has to dash back as Lysor falls. 3v3 with 20 seconds left, and Berlin has gone exploring.
Hunter's Fury for Rians. They could delay.
He's gotten past so much. They have to wait for Berlin to snipe here, and he does. But it's a 1-for-1. The spike now landed. I don't think they're gonna have time. He's gotta land the shots here, and he does. There's no fight. There's no time. We're going to overtime again.
अरे यार ओटी आ गया भाई. हे भगवान.
I can't believe it.
Switching sides.
It just took a little too long. And the fact that they pushed that smoke and they use Rian's recon dart to buy just a little bit of extra time there, and then Rian gets his ult online. I thought after, oh my god, like, takes out Benji Fish. that this might be it. This might be their opportunity, but Woot, it's a crispy Blade Storm shot, follows it up with another. And we go into overtime. What has been going on this tournament? These matches are just unfathomable.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh God, no. It's just been an absolute treat.
Heretics now in this first round of overtime on the attack.
Getting aggressive again.
Right here.
They know.
But they've gotten ahead of all of the Harbor utility. FPX have wasted a lot here to get to this point. They got a Paranoia out, they have a Cascade out.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Heretics are gonna get onto A, investing very little. Yeah, dash, but a dart over the top. You'll get that back.
FPX just saying our attacker side's so good, let's just flip the map and try it from the other way.
Getting past the alarm bot was Lysor, but the other one's got tagged. Meanwhile, Berlin is gonna try to approach us from the defender spawn by himself. He's just waiting for the right moment to strike. Benji on the snap, life dead. FPX are falling apart here. This is the side that plagued them. This is the side they struggled on.
They gotta go.
They have to go now. And I think Heretics realize that. They're ahead of it. They know that no options are
Nice one by Chelo. Let's go.
Heretics get to series point.
Benji Fishy keeping him fired up. You can see him yelling, rallying his team. And I get what FPX is thinking here, Doug. Try and flip the map, try and create a flank angle, but it's once again read incredibly well by Team Heretics. They're so good at holding their angles, being aware of where FPX can come from. Is there gonna be a timeout? No. And it's an op for Woot. The glass cannon in effect. Never even saw an op. They never got the chance for an op.
No, but remember, he was the hero in the last round of regulation. Now the game potentially being put in his hands. Tournament hopes, dreams of lifting a trophy being potentially put in his hands. And of course, they're rotating back B. This triple controller comp should cause enough fits to where he shouldn't be able to succeed. He shouldn't be able to find value. But execution is a different story.
Yep, they're not giving him any opportunities. Just looking to see if they can bait out any util. Benji Fishy, once again in that tube. Being a little bit more patient with it this time. Might be able to hear some of those footsteps.
Fortunately for him, on the patience, there were a whole lot of members there.
Life's gonna wait over in garage. Still Woot holding this angle.
Oh, he misses the shot! But of course, he goes double dipping. Of course, he goes for the swing and he
Nice move! Nice shot.
30 seconds left.
Can Heretics put him away? Benji Fishy's on the flank. Oh, but FPX are striking back. Oh, the Cove. The only thing separating them, he heard a footstep, he lands a shot for Berlin.
Chalo, जीत गए भाई.
Planted.
नहीं, still do it.
They're both so far back. Lysar and Autumn.
Just a smoke to work with.
They've got to hold him back.
And a TP.
This is a bad plant. This is a bad plant. इनका defense बहुत tough होगा भाई.
Benji Fishy creeping forward, looking for a target. Nothing given. Footsteps are traded, but Woot fills the space and he falls. Benji on the tap. Cannot convert. They go again.
It's
दोनों का defense strong है, attack weak है भाई.
Both teams just have outrageously good attackers' sides. And I can't believe Life losing that fight. And they're still able to get this done. Lysor just beelining it onto the back of the site and wins his trade. And then this sneaky position where they're obscured from the sightlines of their opponents when they push past the orb.
So good.
It works a treat, Doug. There's the timeout. I need to breathe.
In case you weren't at the edge of your seat already. 30 seconds to think this thing through. And to recap how we got here and what's at stakes, the attack side for both sides, immaculate. That's the only thing that's gotten us to this point. And for FPX, facing elimination in front of this crowd,
right,
who's done everything they possibly can to will them along the finish line.
And from how this started, with Heretics dominating map 1, and you thought, oh boy, just not going to be FPX's day. They come back, dominate on map 2, and now we're in overtime on map 3 to see who makes it to playoffs. Can't ask for anything more. But it almost feels like it's just gonna come down to who gets that first defender's round win.
Oh, 1,000%. The second dance in this OT window. This time, FPX wisely not choosing to fight mid.
They're looking to play retake on A, but maybe try to hit the plant as it goes down. How close they are to this.
Well, Flood? I mean, do they have the tools?
No, they're gonna wait. Looks like they're gonna wait.
Yeah, try to use a little bit of utility. That flash over the top. Wood hasn't been tagged. Wood hasn't been spotted. Lands the shots onto Berlin. Tries to cover himself, but life takes care of him. Rian's on the swing. Again, another flash of danger. As Rian gets a second. But there's a shot at this defense. His body is, so the smoke's coming to play. Almost lands the second. The defense has to be everything, but Boo stops it. And now Lysor, again, in a clutch situation. He's TP'd ahead of it. He's got, he had gotten into the pit, he'd gotten into the smoke. But Benji Fisher was wise to it.
Switching sides.
Unbelievable.
Match point.
The reaction there with Boo on that snake bite was instantaneous after that dink from Rians. That was, I mean, to have that reaction is incredible, and then Rians can watch the other angle. What a beautiful play there. Phenomenal awareness from the IGL. Huge, huge. I think we're gonna have another pump of the brakes. Another moment to think about this, and now Heretics with the impetus. Going to see if they can find, finally, some success on that defender side, or a little bit more success. Good time for a timeout, I think, right before what is likely to be the crucial round on that defender side.
Oh, I mean, that's been the hardest puzzle this entire map. And honestly, for FPX, it's been the hardest puzzle this entire series.
Yeah,
it's finding success on the defensive side. Now it's on Heretics to see if they can answer that question, if they can solve what has eluded both teams all map.
I'm curious if it's a similar setup off the rip for Heretics, if it's just that lone operator over on B. I feel like that's pretty punishable with this comp that FPX has. I feel like they could go for a fast hit, cascade, stagger a few smokes, TP Lysor up on top of yellow, just go for what worked potentially.
Dump some util back there,
yeah. Now it is going to be a different setup though from Team Heretics. I would have been pretty surprised to see them go for it again, but something to consider. And FPX 2-2-1, just cutting off that angle towards mid. Are they just going to stack and try to push towards Boiler?
Or I think they're suggesting it, at least.
Yes.
If nothing else,
and look
they're
at Wood.
threatening that.
They remember, at the very least. Look at this angle. Oh, how do you not win that life? You were watching that. He takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, not only that, Wood gets away without taking any. And that's a massive start.
They're standing.
They've done it! They've finally won a defensive side! Can Heretics do the same?
Match point.
It's incredible. I love this changeup because we haven't seen Life up on that spot on pipes. They kind of abandoned it. They were playing a lot of retake, and he finds value. He takes Rians out of the equation. Rians has been so impactful as this match has gone on. Some of his utility has literally won them rounds. It is pandemonium in here, and it might just explode soon. Berlin Creeping forward, inching forward, but look at these nanos on the A site. They're anticipating an A hit. They're giving up some of that information towards mid as well with that deep turret that Benji Fish has set up. They're expecting some kind of push through mid to push. Oh no!
Berlin was so far up. Trying to get inserted, but doing so on his own. So there's no one to trade.
Woot just read that so well. It's again that aggressive nature of FPX. Hurts them a little bit there.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
Still, got a lot of smokes to work with. Gotta wait for Lysaurs to come back up. They might just go for this. One more towards the Thrash if they can get the plant off that as well. He just needs one kill and he can get it.
Boo was holding such a tight angle there.
Oh, Lysaur.
Lysaur's got a really nice spot.
30 seconds
Is
left.
he going to be able to capitalize on it, though? Is anyone going to give him the angle? Is anyone going to give him the target?
Spike planted.
Unaware of the fact that Benji Fish is right beneath him. I don't think he hears him. Oh, but now he's giving his position away. Now he knows where he is. Meanwhile, Mood on the other side with 4. Lysaur drops one. Can he 1v3 to close this out? No!
Oh, yay!
For Woot!
Insane!
15-15
Go again! Woot starts this off, taking Berlin down, and then takes matters into his own hands.
35 kills for the duelist.
Unbelievable. What a day he's having. If Heretics comes through, it's going to be in a big part because of the way Woot has stepped up on these duelists. I love it. I love it, Doug.
15 apiece. Into round 31 we go.
Give it your all. You have 2 more days after this if you get a win, minimum, or you have to play again. Keeping that energy high, so important, and I love that Heretics showing us that they've still got it.
He's got to be careful here. He's going for a play. He's going to make a play in a position like this.
They got to know.
They knew. Lysaur gives his life away.
He's been doing it every time. Benji Fishy's been keeping track of him. And now they finally find the opportunity to punish it. Cannot beat that angle, Berlin.
Nah, not against how Woot's playing, man. No way.
No. Just going to send a Cloudburst to try to fake it a little bit. That's maybe going to buy them a couple extra seconds, a lot of extra seconds, because FPX is not moving. Just life. Gonna sit behind A and see if he can get any info as quick as he can. Smoke comes up.
Oh, they're already ahead of it, though.
Yeah, they're way ahead of it.
30 seconds left.
Pure disrespect in the face of utility. Now Life also getting really cheeky here, trying to get his one to get away, but not fully tucking. He's still trying to play around the smoke. He's got so many targets to deal with.
I mean, how? Whoa, okay.
Heretics in full control.
Yeah, that can't be the moment for Life. He tried to go big.
Same as Lysaur.
Woot's got the blades again.
The air has been sucked out of this room. What can FPX do to spark life once more? That's certainly going to help things. A 2v3 and a winnable one at that. Time is a problem.
Last player standing.
It's only gotten worse. Berlin's now left alone. Has to try to use some mobility. He's down to this, but I think at this point he's got to stick the defuse. There's no way he can really pull off of this. He's going to get the kills, but the bomb will go off.
It's just so unbelievable. So much tenacity being shown. But this time it's that early pick onto Lysaur. Now you don't have to worry about those flanks as much. And Life tries to go for the hero play and comes up short. And Ayong doing what he can. But there just isn't enough available there. The number is just too strong. The time too low. And we go to an attackers round for FPX. And they're once again throwing out that same high tide. Are they actually going to commit to this mid push? Turret deep if they go full towards A.
Woot's so far up. Berlin has to be aware of it. What a shot!
Unreal.
That'll bring this crowd back to life.
Oh my God.
But we're not done yet. FPX still have much to do, and they have a minute to figure it out.
Nobody has any info.
No, and if they end back A, they're going into all of this KJ utility.
This is just gut feeling for the IGLs. You know, you split it 2-2 as Team Heretics. Try to hedge your bets. And for FPX, throwing that Dizzy out, hasn't bought any rotations just yet, but with that 0 point in the high tide.
Did the knife tag? Did the knife tag the KJ? Oh, it doesn't matter. Even if it did, Benji Fish is still alive, and now it's back up online. They've been able to hold them back so far.
Ooh.
Oh, and now the spike is sitting on the ground!
Nice!
On to Berlin!
Jeet gए क्या TH?
He's gonna swing on a pad attack
यही
and get
है?
the kill, yes!
He's got to get the plant, though.
How much more can he do?
I don't think he has enough time to rotate.
No, and he's paranoid. He has no idea where they are.
He has to get this plant down soon.
They're just calling his bluff.
Yep.
10 seconds.
They're calling his bluff.
Oh, no.
He's going in for the fight.
No.
He has one. And now the Cove. He should have enough time to plant. Does Boot challenge? Does he swing? Yes, he does. He's up in his face.
Nice.
That's enough to stop the plant.
जीत गए हो भाई!
Instant classic. Heretics survive.
And it's heartbreak in Shanghai for FPX. One of the most grueling, intense maps you will ever see.
भाई!
Elation for Heretics. And EMEA
दिया भाई!
sends a team to the playoffs. Me, oh my, Doug.
गुस्सा है बर्लिन भाई!
It's hard to imagine what FPX is going through. It looked like so many times they were going to do the impossible. And it took multiple overtimes. And they came up just short, but my God.
भाई यार
They
NODWINgaming
were
यार!
insane this tournament. What an absolute pleasure to watch FPX here in Shanghai.
Overtime, over dramatic भाई! बहुत over dramatic भाई! वाह
on the stage. Meanwhile, for Heretics, holy smokes, man. These kids are good.
They are good.
These kids are
It's
so
good,
good.
I don't want to
और
put
ये
this team
साले
in the playoffs.
पूरा watch party यहाँ पर नहीं आता है जब खत्म होता है तभी
Tenacity they
आएगा
just showed here, forget it. This is a difficult team to overcome.
I mean, to face and to weather what FPX just threw at them.
In front of this crowd?
Yeah,
Let's
unbelievable.
go भाई कल से फाइनली अच्छी टीम्स की मैच होगी भाई Let's go. Yeah. भाई मेरी 14-14 या 15-14 पे वो हो गया था नाइट चला गया था थोड़ा सा रिसर्च चल रही है किसको स्टॉप करता है क्या बोला मैं बोला अब किसको स्टॉप कर रहा है ऐसे Yeah, it is fine. I think that was changed. अब मैं स्टैक करता हूँ भाई यार कल किन किन के मैचेस है अभी तो नहीं पता चलेगा अभी। यार कल प्ले पिनाटिक का मैच दिखा दे, हे भगवान पिनाटिक का मैच दिखा दे, इतनी सी आशा है भाई, पिनाटिक का मैच दिखा दे। अभी आज लिवाइथन का वापिस है, ठीक है भाई, उनको भी चैन नहीं है। स्टेज नहीं और स्टेज को कर लो तो भी डिसाइडेड, ओके ठीक है। सीनेट वर्सेस आसपास, यप। मैं जा रहा हूँ, स्ट्रीम बंद कर रहा हूँ चलिए। इतना गंदे ये ये माइक का सीन हो रखा है ना, इसलिए मेरे को स्ट्रीम करने की 1 रुपए की भी वो नहीं होती है। कैम में फोन यूज कर रहा है क्या? कैम में फोन यूज क्या? नहीं, फोन कहाँ से यूज करूंगा, फोन यहाँ सामने लटका है भाई। निकलो फिर अब स्ट्रीम बंद कर, मिलते हैं भाई। अब कल कल नहीं है, वेट मैं डेट्स बता देता हूँ आपको। अभी सीधा होगी 30 को ये वॉच पार्टी, ठीक है। और 28 29 को कुछ नहीं है, तो 20 29 को मैं रात को नॉर्मल स्ट्रीम कर दूंगा। वैलो वैलोरेंट की, हाँ मोस्ट प्रोबेबली वही होगी, वैलो या फिर नहीं। मेरे पास एक हॉरर गेम है जो मेरे को खेलनी है, बट वो आफ्टर मेरा प्रॉपर गियर आ जाए उसके बाद मैं वो वाली हॉरर गेम भी कंप्लीट करनी है मेरे को। सो यार 2 दिन वैलो स्ट्रीम, 30 को वॉच पार्टी, 31st वॉच पार्टी, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड फोर्थ फिर से वॉच पार्टीज, देन फिफ्थ सिक्स सेवन नॉर्मल स्ट्रीम, 8th को सेमीफाइनल्स है, देन 9th को फाइनल्स है, देन आफ्टर नाइन्थ कंटिन्यू रेगुलर जो स्ट्रीम्स होगी वो वैलोरेंट की, फिर हॉरर गेम्स की। मैं आपसे क्या करूंगा, हॉरर गेम्स को लाइव खेलूंगा और बस उसी के प्रॉपर हाइलाइट्स बना के मैं वीडियोस अपलोड करा करूंगा। सो या होपिंग ट्राइंग समथिंग न्यू। मैंने ऐसा तो कभी नहीं किया कि यूट्यूब की मेरी अपनी खुद की लाइव स्ट्रीम को ही प्रॉपर वीडियो में बनाया। So, आपको देन यू फिर द रिस्पेक्ट थैंक। फिर भी साला अकेला घूमने नहीं जाता। मस्त प्लान है ना? बस मोटिवेशन चाहिए भाई प्लान को एग्जीक्यूट करने की, बाकी तो हो जाएगा। आवाज नहीं आता है, कट हो गई। सॉरी, कहाँ से कट हुई आवाज? अजीब सा क्यों है भाई इसको? और थोड़ा तो मेरा ट्राइपॉड यही है ना, बहुत लूज है, तो जब टिका हुआ है तब उसको छेड़ता नहीं हूँ ज्यादा। कोई नहीं, छोड़, सुनना भी तुझे क्या मसला है तुम। Okay. Okay, then guys, see you later. आपको अब मिलता है कल। कल कितने बजे स्ट्रीम करूँगा? मोस्ट प्रोबेबली आफ्टर 8 और 9। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन। अपन मिलता है कल, तब तक के लिए बाय, टेक केयर, पानी पीते रहो, बाय बाय यश, राधे राधे।
रखते न सजा के फेविकॉल दीवार बना के बेदिमाग से आपे मुकपाल मकान बना है मेरे रात सुबह के मुझे रखा रखवाल बना के मेरा सम्मान कहाँ है, मेरा सामान कहाँ है, पब्लिक ताके ताके टुल्ले मेरे लाफे पे जाते सकता तो जाता मैं जाऊँ कहाँ पे। अरे